the competitors are ready to take to the stage once again at the America's Cup. We find ourselves in the upper bracket. Both of these teams defeated their opponents in 2-0 fashion to get here. And now we see who wins in their first best of 5. It's going to be FURIA taking on Sentinels.
Should be a fun one. Yesterday went the full 5. I think much to the dismay of many Cloud9 fans, as that one got pretty sloppy here.
They won the first 2 to give us hope, and then they lost 2 to make us a little on our edge.
To give the CBLOL fans hope.
True, to give CBLOL fans
They just really are all about giving hope.
C9 are givers.
They are givers, yeah. Sentinels and FURIA, though, definitely looking like the 2 top dogs from the first day. They both 2-0'd their series. And now the question is, who is going to be the best team here in the upper bracket? It's going to be a fun one, and I'm really interested to see, how they are coming into the picks and bans. There was a lot of talk about the draft yesterday as we got to Game 4, Game 5. A lot of people were, feeling like there were some pretty significant draft advantages, that some teams really kind of had dropped the ball in those late series drafts. So I always think it's so exciting in Fearless to get to Game 4, to get to Game 5, and really see where you can push a team to, where you can get a big advantage as far as picks and bans are concerned. Because when we were in LCS playoffs, Sentinels was one of the teams that I was actually really worried for, champ pool-wise, once we got late. But they kind of proved me wrong. I felt like Darkwings, because he is kind of a control mage only guy, I was like, well, he gets to Game 4, Game 5, you throw a couple bans, there's surely going to be nothing left. But he was bringing out Veigar and Wei, and just kind of like other style control mages that have been working quite well for him. Impact traditionally is a guy who has a very limited champion pool, but he actually won the most Fearless award for Split 1 in LCS. I don't think he still has his champions that he performs best on, is most comfortable at, but he did actually showcase a pretty big champion pool, and I feel like FURIA on the other side is quite flexible as well, so I think it should be a really interesting one if it goes late.
Yeah, and when you're talking about Darkwings and his champion pool, a lot of it's actually shared by Toots on FURIA's side. FURIA everyone in CBLOL apparently plays Akali in the mid lane, has played that one, but outside of that, it's a lot of those same control majors, right? It's things like the Syndra, the Anivia, the Ryze, so we'll have to see how much of that mid lane control mage champ pool is pinched between both of these teams in the first couple of games, because if you're a player like Toots, you can save that Akali for later on, try and limit Darkwing's champion pool as early as you can in the first couple of games in best of 5 Fearless, and then start pulling out these melee champions once a lot of the control mages are gone for Darkwings.
And I always think it's interesting the different approaches that teams will have to a champion that is unique to one side, right? So if we're assuming Darkwings isn't going to play Akali, I'm assuming that, and Toots on the other side is one of his most played. The question is, do you just allow that to go through early and try to take a good matchup into it, so you don't actually have to spend a ban every single game? Otherwise, you are kind of stuck banning it for 5 games in a row. So sometimes teams will go into it, they'll say, all right, this is his best champion, we're going to prepare a counter matchup, we're going to allow that to go through, and then we're going to try to answer it here, and that gives us more flexibility in every game going forward. But of course, there is risk to that, because if you let that through and you lose to it, then, well, you can look a little bit silly.
Yeah, true. Well, it's sounding like we're ready to hop in to Champ Select. Coaches are on stage and ready to go. Also, quick little shout out, Deos, you see on Sentinels side, assistant coach over for Sentinels behind Golden Glue. First international tournament. So shout out, he's come from the NACL system just like I did as a caster. So got to give props to the coaches and the players that go through that development too.
There you go.
He's having a great time. Follow his
shout yourself
socials
out if you want.
Shout out me, my first international that I'm casting technically.
That's what I assume.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, Deos, we'll give a fist bump once you're back in the States. We'll grab some lunch. But let's catch up on the draft so far. Sentinels are going to be on blue side with first pick. And it's Yunara locked in.
Is probably what we're getting here, unless they want to try to disjoint it. It feels like the common trade these days is just Corki and Nami. As soon as you see the Yunara come through, people will try to go for a strong 2v2 lane. Of course, there are other options. You can go Lucian lanes, but Corki Nami is kind of becoming the de facto answer to Yunara. I would expect to see Xin Zhao probably first picked, and then Corki or Nami, and then the other one on the next round would be like the most common, I think. So there's the Corki. We'll see if we do get the Xin Zhao, kind of as I'm assuming, as that does feel like the kind of best jungler right now on the patch, or at least one that fits most easily with all the different comps, because it just gives you such powerful frontline. It's good skirmishing, has fast clear, can do objectives. It kind of just can do it all. And right now, the game is just about setting up for your bot lane, really, and I feel like Xin does that. I'm a little bit surprised to see the full Corki Nami here, because I feel like you could take the priority jungler, and then just grab your other one on third. They're not going to take the Corki away. They already carry, right? Like if you want, you could just pick the Nami.
Yeah, true.
But That being said, if Furia does not care which jungler they get, or if they want to have more of an answering pick for Tatu, then this is fine too, right? If you think, all right, I want to see what he plays first, then get more info and pick, that's fine. But sometimes it just does mean that you are going to lose the champion that you were hoping you were going to get. So.
And Tatu, I mean, giving him counterpick can be a way for Furia to find success. You mentioned that they one of the strongest macro teams in CBLOL last year, and still to this year we see echoes of ThinkCard's impact on the team, specifically through Tatu in the jungle, giving him the ability to pick what he wants into Hambach. We know what Tatu's capable of, and it's going to be Wukong as the answer.
Yep, so Wukong coming through, both teams going pretty standard. It is just kind of engaged jungler plus enchanter support, a scaling AD carry. The bot lane 2v2, I think, in this matchup is always kind of interesting because Nami Corki really will dominate in short trades. But it's all about the Lulu and Yunara being able to stack passive and being able to get an extended trade. Once you have the Q stacks on Yunara, getting in there, lethal tempo stacks up, you will crush the extended fight. So, Nami and Corki have to be able to move in, get those quick pokes down, and be able to just kind of sustain with the Nami heals. But not get locked into a longer fight where Yunara and Lulu are going to find opportunities to try to probably pop Ghost, pop heal, use that move speed to try to get extended trades.
Now, Yunara so strong in lane, especially with the Lulu behind you at those early levels, and also can scale pretty well. And it's also one of IU's picks too. So when we talk about the champ pool here in Fearless, IU's already two of his more favored AD carries off the table. He's getting the Corki into that matchup. And now we're going to go ahead and ban some of these solo laners. Neither team have locked one in, so it's Renekton ban from Furia's side, Syndra ban from Sentinel's side, respecting Tuts' champ pool as well. Yep. If we want to further ban Tuts, again, it would be things like the Rise would kind of pop up next in priority, as the Akali was banned in the first round.
Yeah, so Syndra, he hasn't lost on yet this split. He's 5-0 on the pick, and he's 3-1 on the Akali. They are his two most played, so makes sense taking those away. Victor going to be banned out here, which I think makes sense. I mean, it is tied for most played right now for Darkwings, and I always feel like Victor does really well in control mage matchups simply because you kind of outrange, right? You have the laser poke, you have really good push, you scale very well. So it is kind of just a good all-arounder and fits the composition that they're already building here.
Darkwing still has Azir up as his champ pool. That would be like my next high prio for him. And looking at Furia's experience, yeah, Tuts has not played the Azir yet. I believe only one Taliyah game. So seems like Darkwings will get something he's comfortable on at the very least, as Furia will get the next choice. It's not going to be Cassante. Sentinels trying to take away one of those safe blind top lane picks. They're going to have to show one of their solo lanes that then can be counterpicked by Sentinels. And based on the hover on screen, I love these over-the-shoulder camera views. We got to see what they're looking at. It's Ahri that they're hovering right now.
Yep.
And Ahri, there it is, locked in.
Ahri is one of his comfort champs, so they are going to be going in towards the Ahri save top for a last pick here. Ahri Wukong is obviously a pretty powerful combo. It's not the kind of same guaranteed level that you have things like Vi Ahri, which you really get that guaranteed dive. That being said, there's not any super tanks on the other side just yet, so I think it can work really, really well. This would be the counter pick that we actually saw brought out in playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. That it was Veigar that he brought out into the Ahri and actually did quite well with it. So Veigar, gonna be cool to see Darkwings bring this out. I'm gonna double check, but that is the matchup that I recall him bringing out.
Yeah, I don't recall right now either. So while you're looking that up, I just love to see unique picks. Darkwings has always been known for this in NACL. He had a champion Ocean in tier 2. Coming to tier 1, it wasn't sure like which would he show us, what's he gonna bring out. And I mean, last year we got things like Malzahar on stage. This year we're getting the Veigar on stage. He's one of the first to pull out.
It was versus the Ahri. Look at that.
Versus the Ahri. Okay.
Brain's still working.
Nice. That's
hasn't fully deteriorated yet.
Well, you had your prune juice. Which one is it? Is it plum or prune?
Over. I don't drink juice.
Yeah, but you should. You really should think about your gut biomes, Azale. Yeah, it's important.
You know what you should do? Shut up, buddy.
Oh, wow. You just want to take over the cast. I'll rest my voice. Sorry, it was a long best of 5 yesterday.
I had to do it too. It was right there. It was right there waiting for me. Orin going to be the final pick here. Good answer into the Rumble. Pretty standard stuff on both sides. Obviously, a lot more traditional kind of a front line here for Furia. They are going to have that tanky Ornn up in the front line, and I don't know. I like Sentinels draft a lot more, to be honest with you. I do think it's really, really strong. I think their kite back is good. I think that the Veigar cage is going to be really effective against what FURIA has drafted. It's pretty tough. Like, if you ever get caged in at all, if you ever get locked into some sort of CC there, Veigar can pretty much one-shot Ahri and Wukong and all these types of champs. So.
They got 2 cages. They got the Cataclysm and the Event Horizon. There we go. It's like when you have the dog gate in the both entrances to the kitchen. You're like, no, you're not getting in here. They can't get around. They're protecting Rahel, and he's got the Lulu behind him too, which is like the dog collar.
So it's kind of the opposite.
Well, yeah, you're kind of tearing apart my analogy here, Zale.
Yeah.
I didn't put that much thought into it.
No, you didn't. Clearly.
Well, what purpose do you have for 2 cages? Can you think of a better one?
Yeah, you want to lock them in there. Like
a cage in a cage,
yeah,
like a box in a box,
right?
Treasure
if I
chest
like locking a gorilla,
container.
I want a second cage to make sure if he breaks out of the first,
the backup
first cage, that he's not gonna tear my arms off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way.
A lion or a tiger or something.
You go to the zoo and they have like an enclosure that they sleep in inside of the enclosure that they're kept in.
I mean, if it's like a cage made out of sticks, I want a big, strong cage around that.
So which is the sticks cage in this analogy? Would that be J4 because you can still dash over it, but Veigar's it's like
Veigar.
You think so?
I don't know.
That one you can't, like, you have to flash that one.
Cataclysm is made out of rocks and stuff. It looks like it'll be durable.
I suppose just aesthetics-wise.
Yeah.
Veigar cage isn't that intimidating, but it does stun you, and that's where it gets you.
Yeah.
It gets you. All right, well, now that we've given our cage breakdown, let us know in chat what your analogy for 2 cages would be as we're loading on to the Rift here for a best-of-5 in the upper bracket of America's Cup. They do look like wings. What's going on there?
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of like a little smolder.
I'm kind of feeling these little...
A mini galley with shoulder
tour
pads.
of the aesthetics of Summoner's Rift.
Wait, are they wings or are they shoulder pads? Because they also kind of look...
Wings.
You're going wings?
Yeah. Brother looks like he gets sore.
He's mid-flap.
Exactly.
That's why one was higher than the other one,
exactly.
He's turning. As FURIA on red side, Sentinels on the blue side, we get the ward down from Habak to spot out where Tatu is going to be pathing in the early game.
All right, so it is going to be barrier heal on the bot side. So Rahel won't be playing Ghost. Trade of barrier, trade of heals. You know, this is what we see a lot in these matchups. Again, for FURIA, it is about quick trades, and for Sentinels, it is about that extended trade. They want to get lethal tempo stack. They want to look for these kind of rundown plays. Rahel already getting access to the wave, getting that passive stacked, and then sometimes when that passive is stacked, you'll see them pop heal aggressively for the move speed and just try to run in and take these really powerful extended trades. So Sentinels is going to get the push and going to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, the difference for the barrier is that, you know, you're going to be able to survive any ganks a little better, and there is some burst with the RE too, so I understand why Rahel would opt to take something like that as opposed to the more aggressive option.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they're able to get that priority in level 2 first bot side. Meanwhile, Darkwings, nice dodge of the Orb of Deception right there.
Is Darkwings from Darkwing Duck, by the way?
You know, I've never asked him, actually. What's Darkwing Duck?
It was an old cartoon.
That was a
super old cartoon, I think.
How old are you?
I am old. I'm 37.
I've never heard of Dark. I'm gonna Google this. What's
I don't know that I
Duck?
even watched it, but I remember hearing about it. I remember that name has popped in my head. So every time I see Darkwings, I think of Darkwing Duck. I think it was before my time. I'm not gonna lie, but
this looks like a Looney Tunes thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I would show it to the stream, but because I'm pretty sure it's Disney, I don't want us to get in trouble.
Yeah. You will get fired, but you can show it to the stream if you'd like.
Okay, you know what? Chat, if you ask nice enough, I'll put the career on the line for you.
How nicely? does asking nice?
50 gifted subs. No, I shouldn't say that.
Whoa. Brother's selling out.
To the LCS channel, of course.
Yeah.
I want them to get the emotes.
Yeah.
They get the Azale emote then, yeah.
It's a good emote.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Still, I've never actually seen mine. I'm pretty sure it's a bucket. I think I have a bucket on my head.
You don't know what your own emote is.
I've been told it's that, but...
It's a glowing review for the Kangas emote. He's like, I don't even know what it is.
No one uses it. I didn't sub to the channel. That's me outing myself. You know? But even if I had, it's kind of... It's weird to use your own emote, right?
Even if I sub to the channel, I wouldn't use it.
Well, like, do you use your own emote? Are you sub to the LCS channel?
Of course.
To both? Answer both questions?
Of course.
All right, well, we know what kind of guy Azale is. As right now, Hambach on the bottom side here will spot out that ward.
Supports his local League of Legends league.
It's more that using your own emote was what I was getting at there, but sure.
Well, yeah, because I'm encouraging people with my great emote to sub to the channel.
Oh, true. I hear actually the majority of people that sub are just there for your emote.
For the Nodders emote, it is very cursed.
Ooh, IU getting big damage onto Hui, and we'll get heal out of him, but who you can't just walk back to safety.
I mean, Sentinels have
some nodders in chat for that
wasted both their combat sums, to be honest. I mean, Rahel didn't get much value out of the barrier earlier on his trade. It was kind of just cut it out, and then Huhi did have to use his heal. That being said, though, we're up quite a bit of farm, so IU was missing a lot of CS under tower, and Rahel has already gotten back with his Cull refillable buy, so he's feeling really good. The barrier's going to be back up, wasn't punished, and they can't really just base right now because the wave's in such a bad spot. So Huhi did spend his heal, but was able to hold the wave as a result. And every lane looking really good right now for Sentinels. I mean, mid lane's going pretty well. I mean, it's down a little bit of farm, but trade-wise, looking pretty good.
You're Veigar, you're going to scale anyway. You just want to make sure that you're hitting those minions with your abilities. Last hitting to stack up your, what's the name of Veigar passive again? I always blank on the passive. It's like Pool of Evil or something like that.
Something with evil. I can't remember what it is.
Unlimited Evil. I'm just going to go with that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't think that's true. I'll look it up for you.
But it's infinite stacking, so theoretically unlimited. Hambach right now invading onto Tatu's Raptors. Drops down the control ward. Tatu doesn't have his mid laner behind his back yet, but now Tuts will show up as the Ari Charm goes wide, and Smite is down. Hambach.
Phenomenal Evil Power.
Phenomenal Evil Power.
That is a phenomenal name.
That is, yeah. The Phenom, AJ Styles. Do you know AJ Styles?
I'm assuming it's wrestling.
It is a wrestling thing, yes.
You don't watch sports, so I
don't. We just had a whole conversation about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one day I'll become a WWE commentator. The evil mustache.
So first you're trying to sell out, and now you're already trying to quit working for the LCS.
Yeah, if there's any WWE producers in the chat, you know.
He's like, I will quit right now.
I'll show the Disney logo, and then I'm out.
I'll get the competition stream taken down, and then I will immediately leave my job and go commentate some wrestling.
There's only enough space for one bald guy.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah. All right. I feel like it's there's been a couple looks for action early on here, and then the invade in the mid lane, or yeah, the Raptors, the scraps in the bot side, but no full-on sends for any early kills. Now the second scuttle has spawned, so now we might see it. Tuts spots out Hambach, flying drags over the wall, and the rest of Furia are behind their jungler. So Tatu, he earns it. There we go. The 6-minute scuttle.
Did he earn it, or did his team earn it? Because that was team gap.
Team earned it.
Yep, team earned it.
Team earned it.
Good job, Furia. Because that was, he had his support and his mid laner both moved over, and that is nicely done. So they're going to be able to get that advantage for them. And now Tatu going to come down here and try to force something. They should know that he could be in the area. Either he's going to be on Dragon or he's looking for a gank, right? You know he's level 6. You know you are weak-sided. Jarvan's top, so they have to play safe, and Tatu's going to be able to get a Dragon.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice getting first Dragon Ocean Drake, especially for tank matchups when you're looking up topside for Gigo. Being able to get that early Ocean Dragon is going to mitigate a lot that Rumble is going to be doing to you.
Yeah, in terms of like the early dragons, it's one of the most efficient just because you can stay in lane longer. Yeah,
I think it's not even close, honestly.
Even the debate.
But yeah, I mean, I think if you can get it right early in the game and have it for a lot of laning phase, it's just so valuable.
Yeah. Suddenly the Rumble poke, the Rumble roast is not going to be hurting nearly as bad, especially when you're able to build your items in lane as the Ornn anyway. So Guido's just going to be unmovable at this point. And just efficient pathing from Tatu, getting the scuttle, and then immediately the drag afterwards. Hambach not able to find as much. Yeah, he was in the mid lane there, but it doesn't look like we actually...
Ari was recalling, I was seeing on the minimap, and Hambach almost got in range, it looked
Number 2 contest? I think the Tatu got that one.
No, Hambach got it.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
Ah.
I saw the plus 35.
I saw 2 smites go down, but either way, well-timed. Then that's a double invade on
assuming that Tatu got it. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know. Oh, Rahel's going in. Transcend oneself for the extra damage, enhance abilities, and pushes back the bot lane of Furia.
Quiz. What's the W for Yunara?
Kanmei Step. No, that's the E, isn't it? That's the E.
All right, buddy, you're fired.
Well, Q is Arc of Judgment, Arc of Ruin. It upgrades as you get it.
Arc of Ruin is the W.
That's the W?
Yep.
Well, there we go.
What are you going to do?
There we go.
No wonder he wants to go commentate some wrestling.
Yeah, you don't have to remember. Yeah. Maybe on like the PlayStation controller.
That's all you have to remember.
You press the X
he
button.
Punched that guy.
From 2K25.
Wow. I guess they do have their special moves, though.
Well, if you think about it, I did know it. I just didn't know that it was the W, not the Q, as the cage has gone down. Event Horizon. That's that one.
Nailed that one.
Usually people call it Baby Cage.
Yeah, I just call it Cage.
Yeah.
You know.
But it does sound cool. Event Horizon.
It is cool.
It's got a good ring to it. As Hanbok's going to look at Tatu taking the grubs and will go forward. And that was smite to Hanbok. Yeah, he gets that one.
Yep, but
he's just outsmited back to back as now Gigo, called the Forge God use, it lands, but the equalizer from Impact forces out flash of Gigo. Furia back into the pit as they back away. Sentinels trying the battle line on the top half of the river. Furia decide to back off, throw up the emotes, and give over the second grub. They got one, so they denied the 3.
Yep, going to be able to deny that. Darkwings pops the spellbook barrier there. I feel like there was an angle for them to fight, but Darkwings had a really bad first cage. I think his assumption was they were going to hard engage onto him, so he kind of self-caged as the Ornn was casting ulti, maybe assuming that, oh, they're going to all try to flash on me, so he just puts the cage around himself, but then didn't actually have that for any sort of combat. Either way, though, calm early game, going very well for Sentinels. They are up 1K. Yes, it is Dragon traded on the other side, so that is kind of the cost that they have given up, but very calm game, and that is exactly what you want when you have Veigar versus Ahri, when you have this Yunara Lulu versus the Nami Corki. You are hoping for this kind of a slow-paced, very, very calm game, and I think they're going to be really happy with how things have gone so far.
Yeah, no early kills, but it's still a 1,000 gold lead overall for Sentinels, with that Cole being a lot of it for Rahel in the bottom lane, still stacking that one up. Darkwings is falling a little behind. That's 2 waves down now, but again, like the Veigar's gonna scale. You just hit your abilities on unit or enemy champions, and you clear the minions last hitting with them. You're gonna stack up just fine. So uses mana, will go for another reset, and has the TP off cooldown, so he can just get back to lane.
Yeah, Touch is doing well in that 1v1. Has created a little bit of an advantage, mostly just the play gold, right? And a lot of that has been earned just by the team play from Furia, because obviously he moved over there to try to help at the grubs. And then he was kind of zoned off because the Furia members were between him and mid lane, so that allowed Toots to get the push and allowed him to get a little bit of pressure. As Hanbok will take some damage, but honestly does not matter at all because he's just going to be recalling after clearing that ward. Darkwings now has all the components for his Roa, so going to be trying to get that done here pretty shortly. You can see Impact going Swifties, pretty common tech against Ornn, as Ornn has, you know, really just the slows to peel, and Toots doing a good job just dodging as many skill shots as he can in that cage. Really, you're kind of just trying to zone him with the W into Qs, basically, to get those free stacks, and yeah, things looking good.
It's like a mini game whenever you're against a Veigar in lane. It's just like, can I play the bullet hell? Once the cage goes down, try and sidestep as best you can. But Veigar abilities do move pretty slow, especially the W. Yep. As now we have Hanbok in the top lane here, but Gigo clears out the entire wave, and no dive will come through. Plus, Tatu was nearby, so that would have been a dangerous endeavor regardless.
Yeah, I think it was more just a coverage play. You know, move up there. He was waiting for his camps to respawn. You can see Scuttle's about to spawn, Blue's about to spawn. So he basically had a little bit of time. So you just go up, you make sure, all right, is Wukong here clearing this? Does Impact have to be, you know, worried about a potential gank? So he moves up there, covers him, and allows Impact to get the reset. He's back to the Scuttle as that spawns. He's clearing his camps as they spawn. So efficient pathing there from Hanbok. And it's these little things that you always want to see people doing in the jungle, right? You want to see them maximizing efficiency. As first item now through for everyone except Impact. You can see Ardent is done, Kraken's done, Roa completed, Sundered Sky. On the other side, still waiting for a lot of those first item completions, but Tatu and Toots both have theirs and are going to be on really, really strong points. Especially, I always feel like once Wukong hits Triforce, you're the strongest person on the map for a while.
It's ridiculous what you're able to do at that point. Yes, he's behind Hanbok in the jungle clear, but just the Sundered Sky not going to be the same type of combat stats as this Trinity Force. But Sentinels do have more numbers right now around the Dragon. They got that priority on the bottom side, and Darkwings is pushing in mid to start up the Dragon, but now they're letting Darkwings link up.
And upgraded Smite, because Tatu hasn't fully evolved his Smite, so that's actually a pretty big deal here for Hanbok, who is going to have the Smite advantage, so would be very hard to steal if there's a contest.
Just turn onto the play instead. The Cataclysm goes down. First blood, the Darkwings.
Easy.
Ooh, yeah, I love that. They clear the vision, they're on the Dragon, they bait in Furia, and then they just turn for the play. Yeah,
it was a really well-placed cage there from Darkwings. Tatu tried to clone out. He would have needed to insta-flash. He tried to clone out of the Cataclysm, but he just cloned straight into the cage. Yeah. And as a result, it takes a lot of damage there, and Darkwings just running in with the instant exhaust. He wants to make him ult.
Yeah, I mean, Darkwing's already used the Primordial Burst, so I don't think there's a big chance, or rather the ultimate.
He won't kill him, but he wants him to ult. So if you get caged here, you might actually have to ult if these keep hitting, so.
Takes another Q, is able to dodge W, and goes for the reset. So no ult used, that's good for Tuts to hold that. Didn't have to flash either, but Darkwings is showing that, you know, maybe it's not just about the scaling. He gets the Roa and he's already putting in work.
I mean, that's honestly a really, really smart play. He knows that your jungler just died. You can see everyone else on the map. There can't be another person here. I have Spellbook to be able to actually just cycle through this exhaust, so I want to get that done anyway. So he just walks on his face, exhausts him, and says, use ult or maybe I'm going to kill you. In this case, Toots has the damage really kind of calculated well. And once he got back to his brush and drops a pink in there, you're kind of like, oh, well, maybe the jungler is back now. I can't keep chasing. So it was smart from Darkwings, though. He got first blood, has that injection, going to base now and spend up that gold, and things look good.
Equalizer used onto Toots now as we've lane swapped, sending Huhi and Rahel up to the top side. We will have JoJo answer as the Nami just to heal up. And that's a teleport from Impact to go towards the bottom side and answer now this accepted lane swap.
Yeah, a bit of an ambitious ult, I will say. Because if I'm Furia now, you know Rumble has no equalizer, so if you wanted to look for an aggressive play, there is always that opportunity. We can see, though, that Tatu is just clearing bot to top, so nothing is really going to come from that. Just sometimes that is your defense against a potential dive, so that is always something you have to be a little bit worried about. And Darkwings now has the upgraded Lucidity boots, got an extra Fiendish Codex on top, so picking up a ton of CDR now. And it's just going to get more and more annoying.
Another cage goes down. Oh, Hambach didn't actually want it. I thought that they would go for the all-in now that Primordial Burst is back up for Darkwings, but wise because Tatu was also in that line brush on the top river.
Yep, they didn't know exactly where the jungler was, so they're not going to full send it. That would have gone really bad for them, and Darkwings just got hit by about 10 rockets in a row.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Also worth noting the skill order here from Darkwings. I'm going to be curious to see where he goes from here. Sometimes people put a couple points in W and then they'll start maxing cage. Sometimes people full max W after Q, but already has 3 points in the cage. It increases the stun duration, reduces the cooldown, so it is really actually quite nice.
Oh, what a play from Furia! They had a ward in the brush. Tatu using the Warrior Trickster to get in there unseen. And then they just blow up Huhi.
This is good, but you did spend your Cyclone now. So there's a possibility that they could actually fight here, even though they are down a member. We'll see if they can delay it enough that Huhi can get up here.
They still have Spirit Rush and they still have Tidal Wave. So two pretty impactful ultimates available as Hambach walks back. Darkwing throws out the event horizon. Ayu stuck in there, but takes no damage. So Furia, they get the pick. Bubble lands, and Hambach has to flag and drag back as Ayu jumps in. Cataclysm, not enough to turn the play, but it is enough to buy time for Darkwings. Will get one back, as it's a trade of 1-for-1 after the Herald's taken. Now Rahel's the focus on the top side. Tatu doesn't have the Cyclone from the earlier play, so he's able to get out, and he's got Huhi to help him out.
Yeah, if that Arc of Ruin hit, I think you might get flashed off Tatu, or potentially even more. So pretty lucky that Rahel did actually miss that. At the end of the day, you basically went support and Herald for the kill there on the other side, but the fact that Darkwings gets another kill is honestly really good for him. I do not think that was worth it for Ayu at all. He goes in and ends up giving his life and the barrier to kill off the jungler when you already kind of had it secured, so I think he went a little too far. Here's that initial engage one more time. It's just a good play. They catch Huhi on vision, are able to get that kill, and then I just think Ayu going a bit too far. You know, once you've gotten the chunk, that's great, but the fact that he has Primordial Burst up means you're pretty likely to go down there, and it's a bit of a costly kill, right? Like, you've already kind of earned that objective, so I didn't feel like they needed to go for that, but it's not bad by any means. I just think it's not as good as it maybe could have been.
Yeah, Veigar abilities have pretty long cooldowns early game, but once you get enough CDR, like his W's up pretty often, so here you saw that Ayu's able to dodge the first one, not the second one, as now 2-0-0 on the Veigar. This was the counter pick that he played earlier on in LCS into the Ahri, and it's working again here. Yep,
it's working really, really well. I mean, it's just so annoying dealing with the cage. So you can see he stopped at 3 points E, so now he's maxing out W.
Okay.
So he's going to be going for that. Obviously has this skill elixir as well to get the extra skill point in, because he did go for that. So going to be able to really kind of ramp that up. W's cooldown scales obviously with rank, but also scales with AP. So every 100 AP you get, you know, it does reduce the cooldown with that passive.
Okay, that's cool.
So it gets really short cooldown late game when you have Death Gap and you have a ton of AP from that passive.
And just 500 AP, from just
boom,
farming.
boom, boom. They start just raining down. So they're going to have to play well around cage. I mean, Veigar, there's these kind of like brief windows where he's very vulnerable when he does not have cage, but if you are not playing well around it, it is so difficult. You can easily get caged in if you're stepping too far forward, and then you are basically forced to flash or just die.
Sentinels currently are on the Dragon. FURIA dropped the Herald in the mid lane as a response. They got that first Dragon, but now it's 2 in a row for Sentinels. FURIA will trade it for gold on the map instead.
A lot of gold, honestly. I think this was bad for Sentinels, really bad, because you get the Dragon, but you gave first tower gold, you gave the plates from that, Orin's farming plates top, and you got a second charge mid, so you got plates there. We were up 2.5k, it's now a 600 lead. Like, this was, to me, a horrendous play. Ooh. This is one of those things where you basically, yeah, you got a Dragon, but you gave your entire gold lead practically to get it, so I feel like they super overcommitted to that Dragon. Maybe their read is that FURIA is for sure going to come contest and we'll just beat them in a fight, which may have been correct, but when they have Herald, you can't trade like that. I just feel like they could have done it a little bit more conservatively, and we'll see. I mean, if they get Soul, obviously it ends up being worthwhile, but...
Yeah. Tuts was also even able to catch that bot wave, so nothing was denied from FURIA. Everything was gained instead. And I love that that was a macro play from FURIA, the team that we were highlighting, had the best macro in CBLOL last year, and again this year, and they're showing us some of that on stage here in America's Cup.
Yep. Crypt Bloom going to be done for Darkwing, so that is the only item with 2 Fiendish Codexes, so you kind of knew he was going that direction. And clearly just emphasizing getting a ton of CDR, really wants to have a low cage cooldown, and you are going to need Magic Pen when it's double AP solo laners. There's a Canic over on the other side. You know, you're going to need that eventually, so he's just getting it early. We'll see where he wants to go next. He does have an Amp Tome. It might be like Zonia's or something to try to absorb the dive, as Impact probably should just equalize the wave, but he doesn't have it, so never mind.
Yeah, not going to be able to do that, so instead Huhi will walk from behind, back him up, Hambach as well, so FURIA back off. A short window there where maybe they could have looked for a dive, but Sentinels will back up Impact, make sure he gets the wave, as Rahel's still in the mid lane getting this wave. Darkwing's now in the top lane getting that wave into Gigo. He's got so much magic resist. FURIA still in the jungle, but will back off now. As the game goes later and later, this Veigar will just get stronger and stronger. I actually really like Sentinels in a kind of even to ahead game state as the game progresses, because you know, Veigar will just hit critical mass at some point.
Yeah, and I think the same is kind of true of Yunara. Obviously, there's good scaling on the other side as well. You have good engage tools. You're going to have ornaments that are going to be coming through that are additional gold, so there is power there. And putting Darkwings against the Ornn is not to pressure the Ornn, it's basically just to farm stacks. Yeah. Because it's really easy when you are playing against a melee champion like the Ornn, just every time he's walking up to that wave, you can just farm stacks off of him, you can get more and more free AP. Whereas, you know, in range versus range matchups, it's a little bit more difficult to hit. And of course, the Ahri has a bit more threat, so just going to be playing that out. And Darkwing has actually sold his Amp Tome, so he's going to be going Death Cap next, I'm assuming, which is what I really like. I feel like when you have a slow game like this, you want to get the most.
Oh, charm in from Tuts, almost one-shots Huhi as he's waiting in the brush. Now spots out Hambach. Darkwing throws down the cage to help out with the retreat, and Hambach will flag and drag out of there. Huhi almost just died, had to use the heal and the wild growth.
Yep, going to use that heal, the wild growth, the shield, everything does come through, but he does survive, so going to be pretty happy about that at the end of the day. And you need Ahri to be ahead. You know, this is kind of that difference is Ahri, when she's really accelerated, has the damage to get those kills, has the damage to get those resets, and that can be pretty threatening. But it can be difficult for Ahri in a more even game state to actually be able to kind of hit that critical mass where she can get kills. Because if you can't one-shot the Lulu, you can't one-shot anyone on the map right now. Of course, in a team fight, there's going to be the Cyclone damage. There's going to be a lot more coming in on top. So he's still threatening, but I am a bit worried for FURIA at this game pace, and I feel like they're getting a bit worried too, so I think we're going to see them start trying to force more fights. I definitely expect them to challenge the next Dragon.
They're the one pressure to make action happen, as Tuts uses the rocket belt right there to get away. Also, I'm shotgunning myself. I just got a notification on my phone. I was gifted a sub to the LCS channel, so now I have access to the emotes. Let's go.
Why would you give this guy a sub? He's already told us he's leaving.
No,
go join WWE.
Now I'm sticking around as, ooh, Primordial Burst almost enough to kill Tuts there. Not quite enough. But it's about sending a message. I think message delivered, received.
The message is go back to base, I'm taking your tower.
Yeah.
And that is a good message for Sentinels. This is going to be a nice lead here. Over 1K up now for Darkwings. We'll see if he has enough for another large rod here, as he's got to get back to base anyway, so the timing is good. He'll have his ult by the time the dragon spawns, so everything good as far as that is concerned, but same thing is true for FURIA. It's going to be like a 10 summoner fight, all ultis, everything is going to be available. Yeah. I do expect both teams to want to scrap for this, so vision becomes really, really important, and right now, FURIA are the ones that are dominating the vision in that area. So Sentinels either have to try to get in, move in together as a team, which looks like they want to try to do through bot lane. But that means Darkwing's going to be very split, so he'll have to join them with a TP very likely, and be careful to not get caught.
And he's like all the lead for Sentinels. He is the gold lead individually, and he's the 2-level lead over his mid lane opponent. So if Darkwings isn't there, it's a very different looking fight compared to when he is able to front to back. Tuts is just zoning him off. Rahel's able to get that bottom turret as now the TP comes in from Darkwings. Dragon's at about half health. Tuts will now need to rejoin Furia as Ayu's peppering into Hop. The cage landed on the Ayu. Everybody onto the 80 carry, but they didn't kill him fast enough. He actually survives through it all. Cyclone from Tatu pushes back Impact. The Dragon smited Furia. They keep their 80 carry alive. They kill Sentinel's jungler, and they get the Dragon.
Yeah, they're going to go Baron, though. That's the real problem here. That went so bad for Sentinels. They got that cage on a Corki, but it felt like they just didn't fully commit in to actually kill him off. And Rahel didn't even pop ulti. Darkwings didn't pop ulti, right? Like, that should be a kill. That should be a kill for sure. And Sentinels have built a really good early game lead and then completely bungled it in the team fight. I kind of want to see it again if that was just the peel that came through didn't allow them to get the follow-up, or what actually happened, because I feel like as soon as Corki is caged, yeah, he has barrier, yeah, there's going to be some heals and stuff coming through, but I feel like he should be dead 10 times out of 10, and I think they should have committed for that. But Furia, I guess, was just good enough with the counter engage. They end up winning the fight, get the Dragon. They're going to get the Baron as well, so let's watch this again.
Yes. So who is in range to follow this up? Because I imagine that they should have had enough if everyone was ready for it.
I mean, this is a big mistake from Io. He's going too far forward. Darkwing steps up. There's the cage. Oh, we're back to life.
It looks like he might be caught out now as he drops down. And, well, yeah, I mean, Tatu just gets him. Polymorph's not enough to keep you alive when there's 2 enemies on top of you, and Huhi in a rough position. That's Baron, and another pick now called the Forge God used by Gigo, continuing the engage on the Impact, but Sentinel's top laner gets back further enough into the jungle that he's safe.
Yep, Ayu's going to be able to farm this tower on bot side, so going to be more gold going their way. The gold lead now going to be completely gone, basically for Sentinels, so pretty big mistake from them, and that is the tough thing about League, is you can spend 20 minutes making all the right plays, building an advantage, but you misstep in those key moments, and it's all gone.
That's all that you're going to be remembered for, as well as Toots hit by the equalizer, and now it's Sentinels time to find a pick. Shut down, credit goes over to Rahel on the board with the kill. We need some more of that from Sentinels.
Well, and that's going to kind of effectively kill a lot of the Baron power play here, right? So that's going to really slow them down. Someone needs to get up there and answer Gigo, but this will delay them quite a lot. They knew Toots had used his ulti on the top side, so going to be able to chase him down. They decide to commit to it, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to hold on to the flash. I'm kind of surrounded here. I'm probably dead regardless. Rahel grabbing that shutdown is great, but Sentinels still, you know, in a pretty good spot here. Now that it's level 17, ornaments are going to be coming in really pretty much across the board. You can see 3 are already there. He has his own Candy Crooker, and we have the upgraded Cleaver, the upgraded Muramana as well for Corki. So, you know, another 1,000+ or so of stats.
Oh, Hui, again, in Furia's jungle. Yeah, he's got Impact behind them, but he's getting cut off by Jojo right now, and called Port God as well. Impact might just be punished for Hui's mistakes. In fact, it will be Hui that goes down. Impact will try and escape back. Throws down the equalizer, hit by the bubble, the tidal wave, chain knocked up. Yikes. And Gigo gets that kill. Hui again getting caught out in Furia territory.
Yeah, I mean, Hui's just trying to play for Vision by himself, which is such a risky game anyway, but you're playing Lulu. It's not like you're on Rakan or something who can just jump over the wall. So
you ain't barred.
No, he is being very risky and getting punished for it. So good job by Furia. Some poor play here from Hui for sure. He's just kind of wandering in, and when you wander in blind like that, I mean, there's the teleport coming in, so he felt like, oh, I'm supported by Impact. I can walk into the jungle here, but Gigo TP's in. Impact tries to kind of support him, but I feel like Impact should have just ran out through bot and kind of just saved himself. I think you kind of have to take the L that your support is dead, because if it's just the Lulu death, it doesn't really matter that much, but giving over 2 kills is definitely a lot more costly, so big mistake there from Hui, and Sentinels pay for it.
And Wukong's able to lock 1 unit down for long enough. They call the Forge God is a long-range follow-up. Tidal Wave's the long-range follow-up. Like, it's just dangerous for an Enchanter to be in that position at any stage of the game.
Deathcap done for Darkwing, so that is huge. Yeah. Deathcap, always a really big spike, obviously, but it is much bigger when you are playing for Veigar because it's amping your passive stacks. So we can't quite see his passive stacks. So 361. So he's a ton. He actually has a lot of passive stacks.
That's a lot.
And then you're getting, you know, 30% more of that on top. So just the passive from the death cap is giving him over 100 extra AP, basically.
He's
you know?
88 AP. That's what I saw on the bottom left, right, or 880. Sorry, AP.
I was gonna say it's 360 for his passive.
A little too low.
So,
880 AP. So he's gonna hit 1,000 this game, almost guaranteed, unless the game like ends very soon, which it is up to FURIA to end it. They've gotten a couple of picks here. Now they're invading onto Sentinels jungle, so they're getting somewhat of a lead, but it's like it's still even gold, even dragons. This is not where you would want the Ahri Wukong comp to be at this point in the game.
No, I agree. They do have a big advantage with the front line, though. Gigo is going to be by far the tankiest person on the map. It's not even close. And Sentinels have to play these fights out smart. I don't think it's just like a pure outscale, front-to-back type thing. You have to be able to actually just hit front line and play it slow. If Hanbok dives in, he's going to get focused down and burst down. Like, he is not that tanky. So it's more of these kind of fights, I feel like, where Jarvan has to just ult in, then flag and drag out, and you're all just kiting back with the Lulu, with the cages, and trying to kill frontline.
And Sentinels are setting up for that fight. Hanbok already pokes down. The Corki rockets are landing. Gigo is able to avoid that cage. So now FURIA just not giving the opportunity for the seal. Call the Forge God used, and it is secured as Tatu will get the dragon, and now goes over the wall for the Cyclone engage on the Hanbok, pushing him out from the fight.
Rahel.
Meanwhile, Impact finds some space. Rahel unleashed. Nobody on him, just the Ornn with the Lulu empowering as Yanara gets bubbled at the very end, but will still pick up one. FURIA get the dragon, but will lose a member.
Yeah, they are going to be able to knock down 2 members because they killed both the soul laners there. So they killed off Toots as well as Gigo. And Rahel starting to hurt. He is going to be doing quite a bit of damage at this point. But again, you know, good job by FURIA, utilizing their ults to create space for Tatu to guarantee the dragon. So now, because, you know, they bungled that previous fight, even though they win this fight, it's soul point. So I like the timing here. They just throw out the Ornn ulti, they throw down the Nami wave, they say, Hanbok, you cannot approach, you will just die. Tatu flashes in, but look at Rahel here. As soon as Toots goes forward, he went a little bit too far. And he just gets focused down there by Rahel and Darkwings. Burst out, and then they're able to take down the other solo laner. If Rahel doesn't get bubbled here, or if he hits the Arc of Ruin, I think they killed JoJo and maybe even Ayu as well, because Ayu had no flash, so lucky that they weren't able to get that chase down and kill. That is kind of how Sentinels want to play out these fights, but Cloud Soul is going to make things a lot more difficult.
Very close moment. Ooh, close moment there as well.
And he's not spotted. This could be pretty scary.
He's also got the spell shield from the Banshee's Veil, so Sentinels, who he will now see him, and gets charmed up yet again. A chunk onto the Lulu as Call the Forge God is used. Oh, too early as he gets stunned up before the second cast hit, but still lands a knockup here on the Darkwings. The Veigar's down as it's going to be up to the AD carry. Rahel on Yanara maybe can make magic happen, but they just lost 2, top lane and mid lane. I guess you don't need the Ornn ultimate. They're gonna stand next to a wall.
Yeah, he tried to activate it, but he was too close to the cage. He needed to kind of back up more so he could actually have the timing to be able to hit it, because the R2 threw him right into the cage, got stunned. They're gonna get Baron again though, so well done by FURIA. They knew that there was no flash on Veigar. He used it on the previous fight by that Ornn ult, so they're able to punish here. I want to see if Impact had his Zhonya's available, because I feel like he did, and I think he just kind of died without using it. Because this is one of these situations where if they full send it on Darkwings like that and everyone is stacked on top, if you have a good equalizer, if you go into the stasis, you're creating space for Rahel, it's still like a possibility for a one fight, because Rahel did have his Seekers, you know, was able to use that. So I felt like there should have been an angle for them to maybe be able to win there anyway, but Sentinels get punished. It was a great angle from Toots. You know, he gets behind them and they get punished.
Felt a little bit like a panic fight. Like, those are moments where he's getting charmed. I don't know what comm sounded like in that moment, but he's probably calling, oh, Ahri's up here, while the Ornn's ulting, while everyone's trying to kite back and you know, get away from FURIA's engage. So just a chaotic moment right there. But FURIA, it's still not a gold lead, but they keep finding these advantages, regardless of the fact that the gold's been even. Regardless of the fact that Sentinels still have a scaling mid laner, FURIA are getting these dragons, they're getting these barons, and now with their second baron power play, let's see how much more they're able to get. Last time it was only about a 1.5k total lead that they got from it, not that big. But
it's just soul. I mean, honestly, soul is what matters now. They're not going to end the game here unless Sentinels really troll. So
Call the Forge God this time at Impact. He has his Zhonya's this time around. Gigo would tank up a shirt shot and then back off. So.
We're going to lose some plates. We're going to be down a bit in gold, but it's just all about the soul fight, right? And Sentinels, because they have a little bit of difficulty in how they're playing out this fight. I mean, you have Engage with Humbok, but if Humbok full sends into the middle of the team, he's going to instantly die, so it's not the way to play it out. So Sentinels do need to be first to the Dragon. They need to make Furia walk in through cages and through all of that threat that they have. The Guardian Angel getting completed for Humbok might change things a little bit, but that is the difficulty, is they just haven't been able to even really have a smite fight because Humbok is getting zoned out by Ornal and Namiel every single time, and I do think the game is going to come down to Soul. You know, can you actually prevent them from getting Cloud Soul? Because Cloud Soul is really powerful, just period. Like, the move speed is very, very difficult to deal with. But it's even more powerful on champions that utilize the move speed burst during their ult so well. Like Tatu, his Cyclone getting super move speed, the Ahri all getting super move speed. Even Corki being able to throw out a rocket and get that burst of move speed is really, really nice. It means it's so hard to actually get anyone stuck in cages.
And IU's been landing these rockets as well. So usually before the fight even starts, one member of Sentinels is going to be half health. As Furia are setting up for the Dragon, it's up in 15 seconds. Sentinels look like they're going to approach from the bottom side.
This is big though. Rahel just finished his IE. We just got GA.
We just found Toots alone in the bottom side. Now the rest of Furia are coming in. Call the Forge God is used. Will land on Rahel, but nobody else. Tuts does get out of there.
But no ult, so that's actually pretty rough for him. We'll see if they can still take the fight anyway. They have to be careful. He has one last charge. Does not find anything with it. Humbok, though, is just taking way too much damage for free. Like,
yeah, Giga poked out. Now it's going to come down to Tatu, who still has a Cyclone engage. Impact will try and watch him. The Wukong is on the flank as IU still just focused down on Humbok into the GA. Flash away from IU, but Darkwing's got him! The flash primordial burst follow-up. Cage onto Gigo. The big carry on Furia has been
Tatu's still here.
with.
He might try to actually steal this. He still has Cyclone, so they know he's over there. They need to keep him away.
Cone. He can take it in. Dragon's still half health, though, so a little early from Furia's jungler. Sentinels stopped hitting the Dragon. They're focused on Tatu. The cage goes down again. It's hit the clone that's hit as Tatu was able to get out of that one. Rahel jumping forward. Now turning onto the Dragon. Tatu looking for it. He got it! Tatu with the Dragon steal. He's shut down, but that's soul for Furia.
Oh man, that's so brutal. And now Impact's probably going to get chased down here. I mean, now they have Cloud Soul movement speed. You're not going to be able to run away.
Flash. I think he might be fine. Yeah, the cage will keep him alive. But that is tough. They were not able to lock down Tatu.
I mean, they just need to commit for the fight. I feel like they're trolling. Like, after you kill IU, stop hitting the Dragon. Just fight them. You have a 5v4. They have no AD carry. And I feel like they just, I don't know, they bungled that pretty hard. That's a really poor finish to that fight. You know, the initial play, I think, is pretty good. I will say Humbok, I think, played that whole sequence very poorly, though. He was just kind of standing in the face of IU. Took so much damage before. Yeah, you have GA, but you don't want to just die for free.
No.
And then by the time he goes in, his Cataclysm didn't even cast because he died mid-air. Yeah, so the cage doesn't even come down. And then you have a 5v4. Just push on them. Like, push them out, right? You know, be able to actually flex on them a bit there. They seem so nervous when I don't feel like Furia has the damage to win a fight or even close to without IU. So I feel like they really misplayed that. They should have been able to gotten the Dragon. It should be 3-3, but instead you've given over Cloud Soul. Even though you're 3k up and you have good scaling, Cloud Soul does more than negate that. So they are behind, and they'll have to see if they can figure out a way to win this regardless. It's just going to be so hard to actually get anyone caught in cage, I feel like, anymore.
I know, yeah. I mean, you were already talking, like, Corki can just spam ult and then use the movement speed perma.
Well, there is a cooldown on the like activation of it, so you're not going to get on every rocket, but you do always get the flat move speed that you gain from Cloud Soul, and then I can't remember what the cooldown is. I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is. You get a burst of move speed when you ult as well.
Okay, fair enough. Well, still just the base movement speed, at least, it's being able to help you get around there. Yeah. And now Furia, they don't have the gold lead, but they have the stats from the Dragons, and they have the ability to snap engage with their Wukong. So let's see if they're able to find those Sentinels currently setting up around the Baron, spawning in 20 seconds.
They also have GA advantage now because Humbok, his was used, and Tatu just bought one. So Tatu has a fresh GA. If he gets a flank here, it could just be lights out. I feel like Sentinels...
Not spotted. Yeah, Impact just walks past.
Yeah, they have to be very careful. If Rahel walks the wrong way, he could be dead.
Impact could be the target right now. I mean, he's completely alone here. Tatu very patient as the Call to Forge God will land. And Tatu chains the Cyclone. Impact goes into the zone of stasis. And the Wild Growth keeps him alive. Oh, barely gets out of there.
But now they're going to go Baron, right? Because he used Flash, Equalizer, Zonia's, Wild Growth.
Equalizer's still up. He has the
he
TP,
didn't equalize, okay.
and the Call of Forge God was used, the Cyclone was used. So I actually think Sentinels have a window here because Impact didn't die that they can stop Furia. Yeah, Furia are not going to go straight for the Baron.
Yeah, I thought he had used the Equalizer, but not having used it completely changes that, obviously.
Charm on a Hambach, again getting poked out. He flag and drags forward. Not going to get chunked any more past that. Ayu's not landing these rockets yet. Hambach still about half health as Furia will decide to just back off.
Yeah, going to be able to back off. So Sentinel should be able to move in and try to clear out a bit of vision here. They really want to deny vision in this area, but you don't really want a fully committed fight until Hambach has his GA back. So still have a bit to wait. Yeah, losing your flash sucks on Rumble, but not the end of the world.
Looks like about 30 seconds probably for Hambach's GA. It's the last little tick coming up here, so.
Yep.
Yeah, if they can wait that out, and again, gives Darkwings a little more time to keep farming up. 5 items on Veigar. Like, he's at that moment. He's got to be over, like, 1,200 AP at this point.
He's full build, so he is really, really strong. Rahel's getting there, too. The one-shot is going to be a bit harder because there's Mikhail's, there's Hex Drinker on Ayu, there's Barrier, and there's Heal, and there's a Locket now on Gigo. So they have a lot of tools to actually keep them safe, which I think is really, really smart. At this point, your individual tankiness is pretty much irrelevant for Gigo, like in the super late game. So you're tanky enough. I think he should just go Locket's Knife Bow. You know, these kind of late game items are much more valuable to just keep your carry alive because Ayu living for another couple seconds or living period is so much more valuable than you being slightly more tanky individually at this point. So I always love when Orange kind of make that pivot late game and Ayu just completed his Maw, so he's even more tanky against that one shot now for Darkwings. But eventually, you will just hit so much AP that nothing matters. And because Furia haven't dealt game-ending damage with the Soul, now we're just kind of looking at an Elder fight, right? And it just comes down, again, to one potential fight here.
I mean, Elder or the Baron right now.
Yep.
Furia are teleporting Gigo into the pit, and Sentinels will have to find a way to answer. Right now, Rahel's in the mid-wave, shoving that one out. Furia have the Dragon to 12K. Still hitting it, not immediately bursting it down though. Sentinels will now go for the approach. Tatu finds the engage here onto Impact. Still has the stasis. Call the Forge God will land. Tidal Wave follow-up. Impact is down, and Furia are running away with the team fight. Double kill to Ayu. Rahel does not have the space to work with. Gigo is too tanky, and Rahel just cannot get through that health bar. Furia show up at the Baron, and they'll get a clean ace on the Sentinels, 0 for 5.
Well played by Furia. They're going to be able to take this down. I mean, Sentinels were so stacked. Their entrance to that fight is just about as bad as it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Darkwing stacked directly on top of Hambach, who's stacked directly on top of Impact. They walk in, Darkwings dies, not using Flash, not using Zhonya's. It's a rough end to the game where they had really good shots to take this.
Yeah.
But Furia, in the big moments, they straight up outplayed them.
Tatu finds the engage. Tatu found all the dragons. Furia find a game 1 win in this best of 5 and strike first in the upper bracket in America's Cup.
Yep, well done. They just find that explosive engage. They were not connected to their bot lane either, so Rahel can't even really get involved in that fight. You want to be set up in a way.
Yeah,
she's excited. She's excited. You want to be set up in a way where if they're going to full send it on your Veigar, not with the team at all, but even ignoring that, you can't have 3 players stacked against a team that is full of AoE CC. It's just you're never going to win.
Tough approach, and that's also how C9 had lost to Furia. If you go back a day or 2 days earlier in their best of 3, we saw a lot of like Vulcan flashing in as Leona with the rest of the team not behind him. It was like around the Baron team fights that Furia is executing, and the LCS teams are not able to do it so far. Sentinels do have a chance to turn it around. Of course, this is a best of 5.
And that one was way more controlled. You know, when I compared to the C9 games, I think those ones felt a lot more out of hand, right? Whereas Sentinels, I do think, is playing quite well overall. You know, the early games were solid. They were winning all their lanes. They won really. I think they did well, at least in all 3 lanes. And we're in a good spot, but we will see if they can improve upon game 1 here and make this a competitive series, or if Furia is just going to knock both LCS teams lower bracket, which would mean we'd have C9 versus Sentinels in lower bracket, and guaranteed one of our teams will be out.
Yeah, guarantee one of our teams are out. Guarantee one of our teams in the finals, if you think about it. Oh, actually, we're already guaranteed for that regardless. Yeah. I'm trying to look on the bright side here, but also, we're speaking too soon. There's more games to be played here. Love the respect for Ayu's Yasuo as that's banned away. They did pull that out in game 2 on day 1 of America's Cup, and it's going to be first pick Pantheon for Sentinels.
Okay, so Pantheon going to come through. You're already assuming it's going to be Talia unless it does get taken away. But Ashe was not banned, so we're going to get Seraphine Ashe for Furia. It was banned in the first game, and it kind of works as a double ban because really people are only playing Ashe with Seraphine and only Seraphine with Ashe for the most part these days. So you kind of know if you ban one, you ban the other. It's kind of like when Zyra Khan was super popular, you just have to ban one half of it.
So then I'm thinking, so they could lock it in right now as they do. I was also wondering, do they take the Talia? Because Vi's also up, so they could go like Vi Talia combo and then have the Seraphine later on to pick up. But no, they do just log in the Seraphine, and it's not Talia early for Sentinels. It is Jhin Bard to answer that bot lane 2v2.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more about surviving the lane, you know, in this case. When you have Jhin coming through with Pantheon, though, you're thinking about divers that are going to pair well with it on the top side because you don't want to have Pantheon just going on a one-way trip.
Yeah.
Bard is very effective at setting up the initial engages against champions like this that are quite low mobility. Skarner is an interesting answer. Usually it's one that you only see people go towards later on in the series once all the kind of prime AD junglers are already gone. But Tatu's going to go towards the Skarner here pretty early. And he is maybe just making the same read of, all right, we have Ashe Seraphine, you picked Bard, you're gonna Tempered Fate on their head, and you're gonna try to full send it, right? And if you do that, you have Encore as the counter engage, and you have the Impale as the counter engage, which can be quite effective. So we'll see how Sentinels wants to ban around that. If I'm Furia, I'm banning divers. I'm banning champions that, you know, work well for impact and can get into the back line. So I'm thinking Gwen, I'm thinking Renekton, I'm thinking, you know, maybe Zehen and champions along those lines.
Maybe Aurora if you still think it's a top laner,
I don't think it backplays Aurora. No. Or, well, I mean, he might play it, but I wouldn't want to see him play it. I just don't really associate those types of champs with his success, honestly. And Darkwings is not really the diver type of player. So I feel like for Furia, you already know Darkwing's probably going to play Control Mage, so just don't worry about that. And I would just kind of target Impact's pool. Because if you just have Impact on a tank or whatever, Darkwing's on a Control Mage, what does Pantheon do this game, right?
It's going to be much harder for him, as Renekton would be the obvious one. No, they go for the Talia. So they still say, we can't ban out all the diving top laners. Let's just take away the mid lane combination with the Pantheon instead.
I honestly thought that they would have just maybe taken the Talia, but they're going to go a different route. So are going to save one ban for that. I felt like when it fell through the first stage, they might try to just grab it for themselves, but it is going to be probably the Akali ban would be my guess, since they're going to go Jax. Interesting. So Akali is going to be left up. Not too worried about that for now, but Syndra will remain on the ban page here for Toots.
Yeah, Pantheon, when I think of like Akali's strengths, having a point-and-click stun to set up, then follow-up CC from something like a Jhin can get scary to play a squishier melee champion like Akali if you're going into the Pantheon's range. So maybe that's where Sentinels is coming from also. It's like we already are kind of showing a tool to just point-and-click, stop the Akali in her tracks.
But that being said, he presses stun as you press Shroud, and then you're just invis, and you're not actually getting anything out of it. So you still have to have the AoE damage to actually kill them in it. Honestly, I can't think of what picks Sentinels could go for that would make me like their draft more than Furia. I feel like I almost don't even care what the last picks are. I already feel like Furia won the draft. I think that their draft is really,
Look
really
at this
strong.
front line. They have so many different options for engage, for peel.
Ryze is not saving it for me at all.
I mean, I'm thinking Azir would feel better than that.
It feels hilarious to say this with 4 champions pick against 3, but and I'm not usually an overreaction Andy with the draft, but oh my god.
All right.
I hate our draft.
We're going the Ryze.
I think we're going down 2 games.
Anivia is up. I am imagining Toots will just play that. It's a classic counter into the Ryze around the world right now.
Remake? This draft looks horrible.
Sentinels had a bug, actually.
Who is killing Sion and Skarner with a Seraphine behind them, by the way?
I guess Zehen? Are you more convinced now? You got your dive champ.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
I mean, you can win any game, very clearly, right? You can win any game. I feel like Akali is weird and would not fit this draft, but he's maybe just going to do it because he's an Akali guy. I feel like you just want to play a control mage with this. Okay. So I think that is a weird, disjointed 5th pick, to be honest, but maybe it doesn't matter. I just feel like their backline will be so hard to actually deal with. Obviously, early game can change things a lot, and I do think the Akali pick was not good at all. I don't think Akali makes any sense.
Did that save our picks?
I think it helped us a little bit, yeah.
It helped us a little bit?
It did help us a little bit.
We
I'm
need
not
the
gonna lie.
hope, because I was on your page when I saw the first four.
If they just go control mage here, I'm like, how the hell are we getting to their backline and killing off Ashe and Azir or whatever, right? Like, I just don't see it with Impale and Encore and all this CC that could come through. So I was feeling really nervous. I mean, it's League though. Draft is like a force multiplier. Your play is what makes the difference, right? At the end of the day, I mean, draft can set you up with a big advantage or a big disadvantage. But that being said, sometimes a draft can look really one-sided, and then someone gets very ahead, and all of a sudden nothing matters, right? It's like if the Scion gets pounded into the dust and is super far behind, then you're not really worrying about him. But Jhin is not a tank killer. Ryze is not a tank killer. Yeah, Impact can win the 1v1, but again, you don't really have people to kill Scion, and I don't feel that you have the easiest ways to get to the backline past the Scion and kill off the carries either. So Akali makes it easier because, yeah, you might be able to CC the Akali, you might be able to just burst him down. But I do think it's really, really hard to reach Ayu in this, and that's why I thought a control mage would pair well with it. Because, okay, you can Pantheon ult on his head, you're trying to send in, but Impale, Ishtal's Impact, Encore, that's tough.
It's going to be very, very hard. And to your point about, you know, Sentinels, maybe it's just about execution, the composition being a multiplier for skill expression. Same can be said for the comfort pick Akali. This is one of Tuts' favorite champions, so even though it doesn't necessarily fit, I still think, you know, we know what he's capable of on it. It was banned in Game 1. Let's see if it's going to work for Furia in Game 2. As they're up 1-0 in this series, we're on to the rift for Game 2 of Furia versus Sentinels.
Yeah, like you said, it goes both ways. I mean, the Akali, maybe the Akali just gets a bunch of kills on Ryze, and then who cares? You're just one-shotting the Jhin every fight. So that's obviously valuable if you're going to do that. But yeah, no, I did really like what Furia drafted through the first 4. I feel like the Akali is super random because I don't think that Scion and Skarner really want to dive. I think that they want to peel. But you can play it many different ways, so we will see how it goes here. Definitely very worried for Sentinels, though, in this one. I thought our Game 1 draft was a lot better than this draft. A lot better.
This one not quite the same
At least not to my preference. But that's the interesting thing about League, right? And that's why I think draft can be fun to talk about, is that, you know, I will sometimes literally talk to both coaches immediately after a draft, and they will both tell me, oh my God, these guys are clueless. They had no idea what they're doing in draft. They got completely blasted. We got this and this. They have no chance. And then you go to the other guy, they're like, can you believe those idiots picked that? And it's like, it's the pick that Team A thinks that won them the draft. And Team B is like, those morons, what were they doing?
And then whatever team loses the game is like, oh, it wasn't draft. If it was just, you know, we botched that 6-minute
The players always think it's draft, and the coaches never think it's draft.
Yeah, that 6-minute scuttle, it's really doing a lot of heavy lifting for draft defense so far this year.
I mean, you pick the ultimate scaling team, and then you just end the game at 5 minutes at scuttle. Well, draft diff, what can you do?
That's the ticket right there. All right, well, so far Dark Wings does get the early push on the Tuts, so we're not seeing the Akali run away with the early game here, but I think that's to be expected. You're the range into the melee matchup, and Tuts is just going to be trying to get those levels and get that first back as safely as possible. I mean, this is actually a pretty good chunk from Dark Wings. He also gets the ward down to spot out where Tatu's going.
Yep, but he hasn't gotten the potion out yet or anything, so he's just looking to recall. He's just hard shoving. He just wants a tier recall, pretty much guaranteed. And so that's kind of what you're looking for on that side. You do have to give some respect over to Tatu in that threat of a gank. So who he was at least threatening that he could have warded. You know, he's walking over and say, hey, I could have dropped a ward over here. So we'll see if
Phantom ward,
yeah, exactly. We'll see if they do try to do that. Those kind of plays are the plays that don't do anything when you're playing solo queue because no one's good enough to even track it or react to it. But the fake warding can actually be a big deal sometimes in pro play, which is kind of fun. When people just walk out and they're like, all right, he has a ward here, and then you drop your ward later in a different spot, and people try to circumvent that ward. They're playing around it. It doesn't even exist. So I always think that's cool.
Ooh.
Nice trade from Impact. He knocked
W on to Gigo, and Gigo should be able to walk away from that one. But
cooldowns are too long at this point, but that was still really well played. He has knockup prime, so he goes in, knocks him up, hits the dreaded return. Yeah. If he gets one more knockup, maybe he could get a flash, but nope.
Gigo just has to walk away from the wave. I mean, he got a CS advantage here and got the wave shoved in, but Impact showing the strength of the Zehen in the 1v1 matchup.
Yep. Wave's coming towards him, though, so honestly, he doesn't really care. I mean, yeah, Gigo is lower on HP. He lost the trade, but truly, who cares? It is Sion, and you are farming, so that is... As long as you're farming and not dying on Sion, you're kind of just winning, right? That's kind of how the champion works. Yeah. So There's a lot of matchups that it's like, oh yeah, this is really good into Sion, you know, like Renekton and Aatrox and Sehen and all these things, but largely, unless you can really slam home an advantage or create a huge gold lead from that you can turn into a team fight advantage, it doesn't really do anything.
One day they will release a top laner that can actually just kill him, as he has to flash away. Ayu got back into the lane, and the focus fire, first blood to Furia's bot laner, and it's going from bad to worse for Sentinels. As now Impact's getting ganked up here. Hambach will come in. Impact's buying a lot of space for it. Flash forward from Hambach. They get the kill onto Gigo, but Impact is so low, the Sion will chase him down with a couple autos. Bop, bop. Trades the kill back.
Dude, Sion Zombie is way too fast.
It's so fast.
Like, what is that? He's half a screen away from Impact, and Impact never stops running at any point, and it still catches up and kills him. Yep. That is wild, but good job by Hambach getting in there and getting a kill back, but he really messed up on bot side. That's a Ghost Ashe, so if you overstep like that and you get rooted, you get slowed down, you are not getting away in a long lane unless you're hugging the other side. You need to be playing to the left side and try to actually use Magical Journey. Like, that is the way you actually disengage from those. Yeah. So when you're on the right side here,
yeah, he's
just not going to work, right? And you know it's warded. Like, the only way out, I feel like at that point, is he needed to probably try to flash left and Magical Journey through that fat wall. He's
trying to Magical Journey through the alcove. You can't find the angle.
Yeah. The angle is really slight there, and yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't see the start of this.
They were setting him for a dive.
Yeah, he was actually in a forward position. So it wasn't Impact like push too far forward. It was Impact setting up Hambach, and then Tatu was just there already. And then we see the rest of this. Yeah, that's a fast time. They bait you because he has 4 abilities in zombie form. They all do the same thing. It's just go faster. Run at him.
You have 4 abilities, but you press one of them and they all go on cooldown. Yeah. So, do you have 4 abilities or do you have one ability?
You have one ability that you can look at a lot. Oh! Photo finish escape from Darkwings.
I want to say that was sub 10 HP.
Yeah, it has to be.
Sometimes
you can barely
lucky.
even see that health bar.
Sometimes lucky.
Sometimes. Uh-oh, Huhi though. Has Tatu right there. The Ixal Impact will land into the wall. The stun from the Skarner, but the Magical Journey over the wall. Cosmic Binding. Hambach goes through as the rest of Furia bot lane follows up. The Aegis Assault will absorb a lot of the cooldowns. They got Tatu, but Hambach will fall as well. Flash forward from Ayu.
What are you doing?
Double kill to the Ashe.
Huhi has 1 HP. What is he doing going back in?
He hit the Binding. It looked cool.
No, it didn't. Didn't look cool at all.
Looks cooler in the gray screen. All right, Impact goes for the Grim Deliverance. Doesn't have enough damage, though. And Gigo's able to back off. Okay. Okay.
It's looking bad.
Okay.
It was looking bad in the draft, and I think it's looking a lot worse in the gameplay. So.
Unbox 2-1.
Yep, that's true.
Kind of exciting.
Yeah.
If you just don't look at the bottom two.
Really, yeah.
Don't look at the bottom half of the scoreboard.
Yeah. I will say I underestimated Sentinel's damage a bit here. They played it out pretty well. Hui's able to kite out, good binding. They had the Deadly Flourish from Rahel, so really good CC chain in onto Tatu. And they are able to knock him down. Hambach did a good job absorbing a ton of that damage, but then Huhi had no business walking back up here and gives over a freebie. I mean, Rahel still has good health, but you just have such low consistent damage. That is always the problem with Jhin, unless you are very far ahead. I just feel like every time Jhin gets picked, you can pretty much, it's just a scheduled loss. It's just, you're just accepting defeat when you click Jhin, you're like, yeah.
Especially before the top
I'm kind of down to lose this game. Let's just go Jhin.
Yeah, if they're showing like Renekton or like Gwen or something, maybe, you know, something Jhin can actually do damage.
It sounds horrible against those two.
Okay, what would it feel not as bad against?
There's nothing. That's why it's Jhin.
If they're showing Aurora top lane.
Yeah, then you're going to die to the Aurora.
You can throw a W before you die.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah. Just a little Deadly Flourish on the way out.
I'm telling you, man. Jhin is just a scheduled loss. You lock it in when you're down to lose. It has. Let me look this up. Dude, its win rate in LCS this year is crazy.
I would say Jhin players are probably upset with that statement, but I know in AD carry players, they're probably like, yeah, I mean, come on, buff our champion. Zale knows.
I mean, Jhin just sucks. Bot lane is super OP.
Tut's actually taking some big damage here from Darkwings, but is able to back off just fine. Doesn't go for the all-in. Are you looking up win rates? What are we looking at for Jhin here?
I'm trying to find the win rate.
All right. Well, all you're doing for that, or looking at for that, Hambach's going to go for a reset as Tatu is on the bottom camps. And the wave's going to shove away from Sentinels here. Looks like they have more caster minions in the wave right now. We got to be careful as the Skarner could look for a play onto them. But Hambach will actually head right back to the bot side. He has the Grand Starfall. He actually might just look. He's got no camp. So like Hambach has to be looking for something down here.
All right, we got the 36% win rate. Honestly, it's not as bad as I thought.
That's still kind of low though.
It's 43 globally.
We're doing. They throw out the Tempered Fate onto IU. The Encore will land only on the Hambach, but it was buffered. IU's able to sidestep the Deadly Flourish as Tatu comes in. Huhi cannot land the stun. Tatu just Ixtal impacts into the wall in mid lane, though. We have a 1v1. Dark Wings again escapes. Dive from Hambach, but Tatu flashing forward for the kill. Hui's going to go down as well. I don't know. We need to go under that turret.
Why are they trying to go for two different people? Hambach is trying to solo the Seraphine while the bot lane is trying to kill IU. IU has no flash.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just kill IU? It makes 0 sense.
Try to return again from Impact right there onto Gigo. He's trying to find a solo kill up top side, but it's just so hard against the Sion, and he's actually pretty low himself as on top of Onslaught goes out. Grim Deliverance will be flashed by Gigo, throws back with the Primal Scream, dodging the Decimating Smash. Impact, fancy feet right now, but he's low on mana, low on health. Gigo will miss that Q, and Impact will actually trade back with another Dreaded Return, heals back up with Grasp of the Undying. He bought time for Hambach to come in, who uses the W to get in range for the Q. Gigo's got the shield.
Yep, Gigo going to be able to survive there. Good flash on the Grim Deliverance, keeps him alive. And Sentinels aren't able to get one kill back. But yeah, that bot lane dive was actually crazy.
That was big.
I don't understand why they split. Like, why are you focusing the Seraphine, who's actually the one who has the flash?
Oh, IU slowed. Captive Audience did land, and that sets up Huhi and Rahel to just chase him down, shut down, and much needed gold to Sentinel's bot laner.
That's good. IU with a little bit of int, a little bit of donation,
him.
you know.
False sense of security.
That's good. Okay, they were feeling very secure after that dive. Okay, let's watch this one more time. So yeah, Ashe has no flash. Okay, I guess Seraphine still had no flash too, but I just don't understand. Like, pick one target. Our whole combo is about stunning into Deadly Flourish. Pantheon just needs to W the Ashe and then Deadly Flourish out of it. Ashe dies for free, and then you can't even have this fight. Like, you don't have to worry about getting pulled under the tower because IU's dead and they're just running away. So I just truly do not understand what the communication could have been there. I'd be really interested in the comms because that just feels like, I don't even know. I just truly cannot understand what the communication could have been there.
Tatu getting the crowd moving. He was the one that actually impaled Hambach underneath the turret. There is Darkwings yet again in a 1v1. Tuts is really trying to find these outplays. That's now 3 in a row that he's looked for here. His perfect execution will not have enough damage to Shuriken Flip lands, but he's right behind Darkwings, so Tuts will not take it.
Yep. Good pressure there from Tuts, but yeah, thankfully for Darkwings. Got pretty lucky, lived with 10 HP on that first all-in, and has been able to survive the next couple with calm play. Just kind of using the Realm Warp to get out. I mean, Impact, you know, he's smacking Gigo a little bit, but it's the damage is not very threatening, and Gigo's kind of hit that point where Sion very quickly hits, where you are just not threatened. You can just kind of fight the wave. Hambach considering fighting this.
Tempered Fate lands, but I mean, the rest of Furia are here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Encore setup. Chain CC Darkwings will go down that time as Hambach goes for the Grand Starfall and picks up the Dragon. Sentinels get the objective, but it's a double kill to Tuts, and now Sentinels need to get out of dodge. Tatu from behind lands the Impale on the Hambach and will just carry him away from the turret. Tuts is rooted up, but Rahel just does not have the vision, does not have the damage. Hambach tries to trade it back, but IU will get the kill. It's an objective for 3 kills, and now Rahel slowed too. Can't get back to the turret, he's fine.
Yeah, they had the anti-timing there. This one, I don't blame them as much. I mean, the Crystal Arrow hits right as the Pantheon is going in, and then Tatu just kind of Ishtal's impacts over the wall, so they kind of get split in that way. At the least, Sentinels did get the Dragon, but losing 3 kills for the Dragon, definitely not what you want, and they haven't even had to start dealing with Gigo, and it just feels like you're playing Ghostblade, Jhin, and Arise, who's not really accelerated, against Gigo, who's going to be so difficult to deal with. So, I mean, you can always win team fights regardless of your comp if you can play it perfectly, but it is very, very hard because I'm trying to think about how they actually even want to play it, and it feels like you basically want to Tempered Fate Ashe, and hopefully Seraphine too, and then Grand Starfall in, somehow gets a hen in there, Jhin opens up the ult, and you're trying to just kind of one-shot their carries. But it feels very difficult to do that And then even if you hit the Tempered Fate on both those members, how are Sion and Skarner not preventing you from doing anything there? How is, Seraphine Encore not coming out? That's kind of what I'm worried about. I just don't really see a realistic fight that they win, because if you're hitting front to back, you lose 1,000 times out of 1,000.
I got it. You just have to hope and pray that Gigo's not there. You just be like, Sion's not going to be in the fight. We don't have to worry about him.
What about Tatu? Can he not be there too? Can everyone except for Ash not be there?
Yeah, if we just find IU alone, if everyone else's PCs turn off at the same time, I think we could actually have a pretty good shot of killing that Ash. Not 100%, has some of their spells available still, but not the worst. Total gold right now, it is IU leading the charge. Rahel not too far behind. Sentinels overall are 1.3K behind. And that's spread out between mid, bot, and support. So no single player has ran away with a big lead. You can at least give that to Sentinels. But as the game goes on, it's not going to get easier for them. For all the reasons you've been highlighting, like the team fight is still going to be almost impossible for them. They're going to have to find creative ways to find their own gold lead.
And the issue now is that Tuts is accelerated, right? Darkwings had been able to live in the 1v1 every single time. He hadn't gotten any kills. If Akali is just farming 0-0-0 against a 0-0 Rise, you are happy about that. Then you can maybe say, oh, we'll just play through side lanes. Rise will get to a point where he can win the 1v1, and maybe you'll kind of spread the map and find picks that way with Pantheon, and maybe that's your problem-solving way, because, hey, we have Bard, we have Pantheon, we have Realm Warp, we play, we're going to catch people in transition. But all of a sudden, Akali gets 2 kills and an assist in that team fight.
Oh, Impact's actually struggling here in the 1v1. Lands the dreaded return, but is so low. He has a passive stacked up, so Ego's not going to get the kill. Grand Starfall in underneath the turret. He's got the shield. Grim Deliverance for the damage. Hambok's tanking it up. They get the kill, but topside flash from the Shuriken flip. Tuts will not find his own kill, and Sentinels are able to retreat from Gigo under the turret. All right, well executed. They get the kill, and they avoid the kill topside.
Yeah, that was good. I feel like Impact should have just tanked it up, though, because he had his passive stack, so he could have just used his revive instead of forcing Hambok to do that. I think it would have made it a lot easier. He probably could have saved the flash from Hambok as well. But Darkwing surviving. We're going to look for a pick.
Call here onto IU. Jojo's going to try and body block as many of these as he can, but now the Tempered Fate. Darkwing's on the flank. Tatu trying to get onto the Rise. He's all alone. The rest of the Sentinels are trying to get in there as the Impale will land on the 2, but Jojo and IU are split from Tatu. Teleport in from Tuts. The Akali trying to get the damage in. Tatu will get the kill onto Hui. Tatu is still alive, and Furia are just running through the health bars of Sentinels. A double kill to Tatu. Tuts on the killing spree, and Furia will get the Herald to boot.
Yeah, those last couple shots from the Jhin curtain call did not connect at all. The third and the fourth shot both missed, which honestly was pretty surprising. And then IU survives. As long as he survives, things are going to look good. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, where it's so difficult. I mean, yeah, Zehen was not there, but the whole team wasn't there for Furia either. And it's very tough for Darkwings and Hambok to be relevant, to be in a position to actually damage the backline without getting CC'd by the frontliners and without getting CC'd by the Encore. And we kind of got to see that. And now it is a 3,000 gold lead here. So here just one more time. I mean, IU steps too far forward for sure. Nice deadly flourish. And they stun him up.
Starts great.
It does start great, but both the third and the fourth shot missing is very surprising. It goes, splits the uprights
Double
there.
Flash, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, had he been able to connect onto IU, it could have been pretty good, but then Hambok, this kind of comes back. This is a good example of how League of Legends can really snowball from execution. Imagine if Hambok had flash and he could flash out the Skarner roll and stun IU, and IU dies instantly there.
Sure, yeah.
And he does not have flash because Impact didn't tank the tower on the bot lane dive, right? And that's one of those things where...
Dominoes.
It is. It's actually crazy dominoes. And I mean, maybe they disagree and they feel like they played the bot lane dive correctly. From my point of view, Impact should have always been tanking that and just used the passive for the revive. And then Hambok still has his flash. IU maybe gets one shot there, and maybe the team fight is completely different, and maybe the game is completely different, but that's not the way they played it. He lost his flash on bot side, and that means he gets Skarner ulted. That means that IU walks away, and if you can't one-shot IU, he's going to do way more consistent damage than anyone on your team.
Yeah, Tatu impaling into the Encore was beautiful setup, as Impact was not spotted in this brush spot side. Furia have multiple members hanging around, Sentinel as well. Grand Starfall is available. Hambok could look for a big engage, as Impact will spot out 2 members. Dodges the stun. Tatu gets in there, has the Impale available, flashed by Impact. So Summoner Spell committed to survive as the Herald was dropped, and it will not get the charge. The arrow goes wide, and now they get into the Herald. The Cosmic Binder tried their Tempered Fate will block it. The Encore onto a couple members, but Sentinels still fancy themselves an engage. They got Tatu's flash out, as the rest of Furia can't quite get into the fight yet. They have their top laner joining up, but a little late as Sentinels do hold the turret for now.
Yep, I mean, Tatu is not that tanky, to be honest, but even him you can't knock down, and the Sion is going to be way harder. Sion's going to be way harder to kill. Obviously, that started really poorly because Impact got spotted. He has to use both the Grim Deliverance and the Flash to get away. And then they decide, you know what, it's probably not going to get better. We just need to try to force things regardless. So they are going to decide to just send it. But the CC is always going to be the problem for Furia. I mean, Hambach arrives, and I don't know if he was like mashing against Assault or maybe he wanted to hold it for later in the fight, but he didn't get it off and ends up losing so much of his health during that CC. I mean, Jhin is just never going to threaten the front line. I mean, we're going Ghostblade into LDR, I believe. Ooh. And it's just like, where's your damage, right? Like, Ryze maybe eventually is going to do something because it is purely armor being stacked by Gigo, but a fight where your Ryze is hitting the Sion the entire fight is not a fight you're going to win anyway. So I do think it's going to be really, really, really tough for them. And they need to keep trying to go for these side lane plays. Like, the dive on the Sion was good. If you can get a bunch of kills through that sort of a style of play, then that could be a way in. But Furia just have to keep doing what they're doing. Just show up for every objective and just make it tough for Sentinels frontliners to ever actually get onto IU, and you're going to be good.
Lord Dominant Guards is finished for Rahel, so the LDR has come in. But I think at this point, the only win condition for Sentinels is Impact having pop-off plays. Like, Zehen, maybe we get... can we say 300 years? Is Zehen the 300 years champion? I know Aphelios was 200 years. I feel like Zehen has so much power in his kit that we've seen him just take over games that feel unwinnable regardless. So maybe that is the win condition. As actually, that's a Baron startup on spawn from Furia. We see multiple members of Sentinels down here.
I think they're going to get it too. I don't think Sentinels has any idea. They're not even... Now there's some pings. I think maybe now they're a little bit nervous, but... Okay.
And they drop the far side alteration. They'll see it's at half health. They have the Tempered Fate. They'll throw it in there to delay. Teleport in from Impact on the flank. And Rahel will walk straight into Gigo. Knocked up with the arrow cleansed instantly. He's trying to get back. But the Impale now onto Huhi means that it's a numbers advantage for Furia. Jojo flashes the Deadly Flourish to survive it. Baron is delayed, but Furia do get a teleport and a kill for it.
Yep, they get the teleport. They get the kill. Again, just hit whatever.
Back on it.
It legit doesn't matter who they're hitting. They hit anyone. Any CC lands on any Sentinels member, impale them, kill them. Yep. There's really no recourse to that. Unless you can find like a Tempered Fate on the impaled player to delay, but now they don't even feel like they can enter. And they're going to be too late. The Baron, I think, is just going to be gone before they can do anything about it. There's no Grand Starfall.
Impact is walking in. Darkwings is too far behind. They will just watch as it falls. Furia pick up the big purple worm, and now they're going to try and get out of here. Gigo pulled back in. Hambach trying to lock him down, but you can see how tanky this Sion is. Grim Deliverance follow-up from Impact. He's trying his absolute hardest to get the kill. They got it! Rahel with the curtain call will get one. Zombie form Sion in the fight, can trade one back, but the Zehen has the passive, has the revive, and now it's up to Tots! He got onto the carries, the Akali unleashed, but now CC, now knocked up, gets the double kill, but will go down. Sentinels get a shutdown to Darkwings and do win the extended fight.
That was actually really big for Sentinels. They just full send it. They realize how bad of a position they're in. You just need to keep trying to fight. And this time, Darkwings actually got into the backline and put so much pressure onto IU and Jojo, which is really well done. And then this knock-up in that final moment, it looked like Toots got knocked up either out of his R2 or his E. The knock-up from Zehen canceled that, and that actually helped to keep him alive. So they already secured this. We knew this was going to be gone. And then Gigo gets a little bit too confident. The rest of the team is all walking the other way, and it's warded. You can see in the top left of your screen. So they're saying, all right, well, we're just going to keep hitting you. And they're not going to stop chasing you because they know the game is just going to get worse and worse and worse. So they full send it. Impact has his revive ready. Tatu does survive for quite a while. It's a great encore, but then look at Huhi on the side and look at Darkwings. Darkwings gets into that back line, is landing a ton of damage down, and then track Tatu as he gets knocked up right there.
Impact.
Out of the air, gets knocked up. The blast cone gets taken away, so they knock him down as well. And that is a lot of gold back there for Sentinels. They would love to grab this dragon, but doesn't look like it's going to be possible because Darkwings is topside, and so is Hambach, so that's going to be furious.
It's a 1,000 gold lead. It's a negative Baron gold lead so far. That's a Baron deficit right there of about 1,800, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Furia, they get back to the map. They take this dragon. That's their second of the game, and they still have Baron buff on Tatu. He was the one that lived, so they still could theoretically look for you know, pushing in some waves if they want to use it.
But they're not entering top, so I think Furia is actually not really having their lane assignments very set up well right now. So Darkwings pushes that in, gets a plate, and Darkwings is looking to try to build towards the Actualizer next. Once you get that, his Roa is just ticked over to 10 stacks, so he's level 15, and Impact needs to run.
So far losing the 1v1, will Grim Deliverance away as the arrow barely misses its mark. Impact will be safe for now.
Yep, gonna stay alive. You just have to play. You are weak-sided right there, and you got to play really, really safe. They're going to go for a dive.
Ooh, I like that from Huhi, stopping the turrets. Darkwings can walk forward. Gigo, ultimate, body blocked by Huhi. That Bard just bought so much time for Sentinels to find their pick onto the tanky top laner, and that Sion went down.
This is really nicely done. This is the kind of problem solving that we were talking about when we're trying to think about, okay, how could you actually win? Well, you have Pantheon, you have Bard, you have Ryze. Try to play through sides. Try to keep picking them off because the 5v5s are going to be really, really tough. The difficulty with that is always if you're trying to play one of those kind of skirmishy, split bushy style comps, if your opponents are getting dragons, eventually you are drawn to there and you have to fight, right? Yeah. So that is the problem that they are going to be dealing with here. They've gotten a couple nice picks in the side lanes. They had that bot lane dive, obviously, on Sion. Now they get a top lane kill on a Sion. And that's the Actualizer gold for Darkwings because he got some plate gold. True. He actually got, you know, a good injection there. And Actualizer, anything is possible. You know, do I still favor Furia's comp? Yes, heavily. But when you pop that Actualizer and you get into the backline and you get some good damage down, you can sometimes just win a fight straight up, right? Where you are just bouncing the spell flux across multiple members. You know, you're getting so much damage down, and sometimes it can work. So we'll see.
Right now, vision is dark in the top jungle. Darkwings is walking up here to get towards this top wave, and Hui's going to back him up. I will say that the gold is still even. It's good for Sentinels that they got some of that back in their favor. It's about a 3K lead for Furia before the Baron. They get the Baron, it's a negative play, and then they also lose the play immediately afterwards. So Sentinels are back in it slightly, and a lot of that is on Impact. So when you talk about the win condition, the Zehen does have that lead right now as he's once again relegated to the side lane in this 1v1, but I still just love Furia's composition and their chances with it.
No, I completely agree. I think Sentinels are doing the best they can, though, from a tough spot. I mean, they really misplayed some of the early game stuff that got them behind, and I think their draft was always going to be a lot more difficult to pilot. Gigo has so much armor, but he has almost no MR. I think a lot of Sions would have built a little bit earlier MR, which is why you're seeing Ryze do so much damage to him. You know, he just has that null, and that's it. But obviously, because he is ignoring MR completely, when Impact is hitting him, it looks like this, where Impact is just hitting him over and over and over. He even went Stridebreaker to be able to have a bit more chase down, probably onto the Ashe and the Seraphine. And it's going to be a very long fight if it were ever Impact killing Gigo.
Yeah, but I mean, unless Hanbok's also hitting him, because that's where the Black Cleaver is. You kind of want the stacks to shred some of that armor before Impact's able to really do any damage to him. I agree that Impact's job is going to instead be focus on the carries. Because, like, theoretically, let's lay the hypothetical here.
You're ignoring Sion in the fight you win.
If you ignore Sion and you just dive the Ashe, I know it's tough with the Seraphine. Like, it's not going to be an easy job. But, like, if you can just kill the Ashe and kill the Akali, like, the Sion threat goes way down because he's not going to be doing the damage himself.
No, it's completely true. I mean, that is always the case with these style of compositions. Akali even has very low consistent damage, right? So if you one-shot the Ashe, and even just the Akali is fine, whatever, if you one-shot the Ashe at the start of a fight, you do have a really good chance in those fights because Skarner and Sion and Seraphine have some upfront threat with their ultis and with that CC, but it's not long-term. You know, it's going to really plummet after the fight goes on for a bit. So that is obviously the glass half full. The glass half empty.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy. When I have an orange juice, it's half
full.
Yeah, I mean, it's half full there.
And the glass half empty is that, obviously you want to kill IU, but there's so much peel.
Yeah.
So it's
not going to make it easy, as that was a Realm Warp from Darkwings. Not exactly sure.
I think they were nervous about Baron. They were really nervous that they were rushing down Baron, so he's trying to rush out of base and pops that. He does have his Seekers, and IE's done for a hell, so some big items coming through. Death Dance done. You can see Infinity Edge was already finished there for IU. Toots is on 3 items, and now Tatsu's just going in towards support itemization, which is always very strong.
As we have Gigo actually starting things off onto Impact right now. Nice interrupt onto Tatsu's engage, and Impact gets a huge Grim Deliverance on the multiple. Tuts on the backline, gets onto Hui, but he flashes to safety as Impact trying his best to get onto IU. Cannot kill the Ashe, goes into the stasis. The resurrecting now. Ixel's Impact under the turret, flashes back into Furia's jungle, but they can chase him down. Dread of Return will land onto multiple members, but it is not enough. Impact tried to get onto IU, but it's easier said than done. The Seraphine keeping the Ashe safe. Everybody keeping the Ashe safe, and now Sentinels only have 2 members left alive. They only picked up the support. 1 current call lands, the second will not, as they're able to back off there. And actually, yeah, nobody down on the side of FURIA.
Yeah,
as JoJo didn't even fall.
Toots just destroyed Darkwings. Darkwings didn't even use the stasis, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Because it seemed like a pretty good start to the fight. I mean, they jumped in on impact. There was clearly some miscommunication, as they're going to try to just secure this. We'll see if they rush it down.
It's the solo laners. This is going to be a 2v2. Gigo and Toots just jumping onto Hambach. It is smite secured by the jungler, but Toots will get a kill for the effort, as he'll also follow up on the portal from Huhi. Cosmic Binding can stun up, has the Tempered Fate as well. Over the walls Rahel, but they just don't have quite enough. Ooh, stasis for the Binding, as in comes Gigo to keep his mid laner safe, try and get them out of there. Darkwings is here, everybody's here. The arrow lands, a splash out of Toots, as teleported from impact, will not get the kill onto Akali. Sentinels, they tried to find something there. They get the dragon, but it is another Baron to FURIA.
Yeah, but at the very least, they do get the dragon, but of course, great stuff from FURIA. I want to see that fight one more time and see exactly what happened to Darkwings, but definitely miscommunication there, because, so, the call here from Hui is, oh, I'll save you with the Tempered Fate, but he's ulting away from it, right? So clearly it was different calls there. Okay, so oh yeah, it was just the Impale. So it was just the Impale onto Darkwings. Darkwings basically gets CC'd 100-0. I mean, if you get tagged by the Encore, you're going to get hit by the Impale. Everything's going to kind of chain up there. Obviously, there's a Crystal Arrow. There's so much CC. And if you can't flash the initial CC, you're kind of cooked, and that's what he would have had to do. I think this fight would have actually been pretty winnable had he not gotten hit by that Impale. You know, if you could flash the initial CC as Darkwings, then the amount of damage you can put out is actually pretty high. And IU got pushed back pretty quickly, so... But that's just kind of the way it is, right?
That's one of those fights I want us to take a look at again, because also the start of it, really weird positioning as Gigo. Can he survive this? What are the odds? No, he does go down. All right, 4 members of Sentinels. If we get 4 people hitting the Scion at one time, we can actually kill him.
Yeah, he's dead.
Not too bad. As Toots will land the Shuriken Flip onto Impact. 5-point strike as well, but he gets back to the safety of the rest of his team. The arrow now onto Darkwings. Beautiful Bartle from Hui to stop the re-engage from Tatu.
This is a TP from Toots.
Yeah, TP from Toots to try and stop the retreat. It is spotted, though, so Sentinels know that he's there, and they will not run into the Akali.
We must go home.
Retreat.
Get out of there. All right. Well, Sentinels doing a decent job. FURIA clearly in control, though, and this would move them to match point. You can see Toots is really strong now. I mean, he's going to be working in probably towards a death cap at this point. He's already got a lot of AP. I doubt he's building a Banshee's Veil with that large fraud, so next one should be a death cap. IU's on 4 fully completed items. He's 2,000 gold ahead of Rahel, and his champion just naturally does more consistent damage as well, and there's squishier members. So that is problematic for sure, but Impact at least is very far ahead. He's up 2K, so if he can have a really good fight, if he can get a passive stack, get into the backline, there's always going to be chances, but it just feels like so much is, can you not get destroyed by Impale and Encore and Crystal Arrow? You can't get CC by anything, because if you get hit by any of it, it's going to be chained, and someone's going to be dead on Sentinels, and then the fight is probably pretty lost. So it's all down to the start.
Yeah, this is, I feel like we're just playing different games at this point. Like the composition from FURIA, they're just playing a pretty straightforward game of checkers. It's just like move your pieces forward, do your front to back. I mean, Toots, of course, is kind of the wild card here on the Akali, but he's comfortable on the pick, and he's doing well. I feel like I said
everyone else on his team is playing checkers, and he's like, I advance to go and take $400.
He's playing Monopoly, just getting all the money back.
Brother, what are you talking about? Those are checkers pieces.
Some new iteration of chess. Sentinels, meanwhile, they're playing like Punch-Out right now. They're just getting rocked by Tyson here. Like, it is so hard to win these fights. If they find a pick, though, onto Toots, that could be a good start to it. Goes into the Shroud, use the perfect execution once to try and get out of there, but Sentinels pull him back in. Impact lands the dreaded return as IU now slowed down by a couple shots there. Hambach, Grand Star fall in. They got onto JoJo. The Seraphine, the dominoes start to fall. Sentinels get 2 as IU now all alone on his retreat. Sentinels still have multiple members here. He doesn't have a turret up there, so they can desync the death timers if they chase for the kill. There's no objectives to take on the map, so yeah, you might as well just get the gold if they want to.
He should die. He should definitely die. I mean, keep going.
He's got Giga behind him.
Where's
it's going to be
Hui?
Hambach. It's going to be Darkwings. Hui's a little far behind as a flash from Darkwings over the unstoppable onslaught. Giga's not able to land that one. Now Hui joins up. Meanwhile, Impact's taking the bottom turret. Sentinels find kill after kill after kill, and they're going to turn it into a cracked base in the bot lane.
Just like they drew it up. I never doubted them.
Yep. That's
Never
that
doubted
punch
them.
out, baby. They learned, they figured it out. The Dark Souls boss has been defeated. They learned the attack pattern.
As soon as they locked in those first 3 picks, don't check the tapes, but I remember myself saying, oh, it's going to take us 1 pick onto the Akali into a chase down on JoJo in mid lane, and then you catch out Ayu, who's going topside with a nice flash.
This is where we test if our socials department is paying attention. Take that soundbite and overlay it onto the draft.
With me just blaming their draft and being like,
post that one.
FF, get me out.
But we just the soundbite from a few moments ago onto that moment. And there we go. That's it.
All right, let's cap that dragon. I will not unclench, though. I will say that. I'm still scared.
You're staying clenched.
I'm staying extremely clenched.
Azale, there's one thing I know about you. So when you're clenching, I'm clenching. All right. Sentinels, can they do it again?
I don't want to be clenched.
You don't want to be clenched?
No,
you don't want to co-clenchers?
I don't want to be synced up like that.
For co-casters, for co-clenchers? I thought this was like a...
It's got to be like it's got to be natural, you know?
All right.
You can't force it.
All right.
Just like synergy.
I don't want to talk about forcing clenching right now, but I feel like we're getting back to the prune juice conversation that was happening earlier.
Buddy, just chill out,
Just chill out.
Yeah.
We know why Azale doesn't drink juice anymore.
Your name is Kangas, not Kantgas.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And together we are Asgas.
No.
Still back on the conversation.
Still not.
Baron's up for Sentinels. As they're starting it up, Furia will spot it out. Tatu into Hui and Impact holding the line. Ixtel's Impact not available anymore. He's going to have to look to flash over this one if he wants to steal the outfit available.
Impact.
Oh, beautiful Bard ultimate to stall the steal attempt as Impact gets out of the back line. That's one down. They kill the Seraphine. Impale lands. Tuts can try and get the damage down. He's stunned by Hambach. He's alone in the Shroud. His Impact is still alive in his 1v3 on the side. Grand Starfall to stop the retreat pass. Shut down on Impact. Finally, unlocking Soul Impact into the wall. Verhel's trying to get some damage down. Darkwings is low. Scary to walk up. Furia flash away. Hambach flash follows. They fancy themselves a kill onto the tank, and this time they'll get it. The Black Cleaver shreds the armor. Rahel gets the final kill. Sentinels find the play.
Okay, let's go. And we got the Baron, so that's big. That is really big. Ishtal's Impact, that is a really good interaction with the Pantheon stun. It pulls Pantheon out of the air of his stun, so you actually can't interrupt it there. Unless you're coming from maybe a different angle or something. But, I saw that mid-fight. Hambach goes forward, goes to the stun. I'm like, great, he's going to interrupt the Ishtal's Impact, but he actually pulls him out of his stun. And was able to keep going. Otherwise, we could have got Tatu too. So
yeah, crazy.
Well played. I mean, that is Impact making a huge difference. He survived forever. Like our frontline killing is not good, but Impact puts so much pressure on the back line. He takes down JoJo. Yeah, he doesn't kill off Ayu, but he puts so much pressure on Ayu, and he has the revive stacked up. Yep. And honestly, just a really, really good job by Impact. He is acting as the front line, and now Darkwings is 6 items, and Jhin in the super late game actually starts to hurt because he gets so much AD with the passive, so they're getting to a point where we can win this game.
Impact's got to be my front runner for player of the game so far. He has kept them in this as the Zahen. Tuts has a flank angle, but Rahel does spot it out. Hits the blast cone to knock Tuts back away, so Furia's mid laner will back off of the attempt. Impact, meanwhile, still on top position. Teleport coming in, the arrow lands, but is buffered by the Grim Deliverance. Tempered Fate will buy more space for Sentinels. Tuts completes the teleport as Darkwings has to be careful. The Encore lands on everybody, and Tuts gets out of the back line and just slaughters the health bars of Sentinels.
Run, Darkwings. Get out of there, buddy.
There was a moment of hope, but that's been shut down just like Hambach.
I mean, we can still win the game, but like Darkwings needs to not die. We need to be careful here.
Yeah, this is a dangerous position
why are you
to be
still
in.
there?
Still up as Tuts has the flash available, has the Zonias available. Darkwings has to be very careful as he will back off.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, that was a bit rough. Impact is too far up. Impact is just way too far up. The Tempered Fate was really, really good from Huhi. Right as Tatu lands the Impale, he Tempered Fates him,
Beautiful.
so it's going to delay a lot of the time, but the game might just be over. I think it is, unfortunately.
Long death timers, specifically Hanbok, 25 seconds. It's going to be 15 for Rahel, 15 for Impact, so it could be a 4v5 base defense. Furia still pushing into the Baron and powered minions. Maybe that's a saving grace here, but it just expired.
They got spooked. I thought they were going to force it. I feel like they could have maybe forced it still, but Impact and Rahel are up soon, and I was kind of worried that they were just going to get a kill onto Darkwings, and then the game would be ended, but Sentinels, hold on. So I was getting too spooked for nothing. And now it's down to Soul, right? So now
clench
it's
though, Azil. You know, don't get too comfortable though.
Don't tell me to clench. I'll clench
I'm
if
not
I want to.
All right, fair enough. Tatu is the focus right now. Decimating smash from Gigo right onto 2 members, as it also buffers the Tempered Fate with Unstoppable Onslaught. But ultimate used from the Scion as Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. Should have it back up by the next fight, but Sentinels for right now can get the vision control around the area.
Oh, wait, they spotted him, but okay, the recall finished. Damn, that would have been huge. All right, so we're still alive, but yeah, some bad things happened for sure. We stacked up before the Encore, and JoJo completely owned us. I mean, when you see Toots is TPing in, and you see the Encore hit Rahel, and then the double root comes through, you're like, okay, I've seen Jin is one shot for sure. So that is tough, but it is still Sentinels in with a chance. They played it out way better than I thought they could. I just feel like this comp is hard to pilot. We'll see if they can make it work.
Now with Super Minions in the mid lane, Sentinels are fighting for control over the river. Damage on the Gigo, as Furia are stacking up for their approach at Dragon Soul. This would be Infernal Soul for Sentinels. Impact has a flank angled right now. Sentinels need to be careful about grouping up for the Encore, as the arrow will go out. It lands here onto Hui. Focus onto the bar, but instead they turn onto Darkwings, who's too far forward from the rest of Sentinels. Hui mistiming the Tempered Fate to try and save his mid laner. Darkwings goes down, but he might be traded for Tuts. If they can get the Akali, it could be worth. Flash of the wall from Tuts, and he takes down Hui. Furia will not lose their mid laner, and they'll kill Impact out of the Zahen passive. Sentinels do not win the Dragon Soul fight. Crucially needed for them with 2 members left alive. Furia will say they don't have the numbers. We're just going to go straight into the mid lane. Hanbok will try and Grand Starfall to clear the wave, but there's just no shot. Furia have done it. Going up 2-0 versus Sentinels in this best of 5. Just keep the wave safe, stop the backs, walk it in. And Furia, Azil, they came to play some League of Legends today. CBLOL go up 2-0 in the upper bracket.
Brutal, brutal. We're gonna have to go to the ADPC. I want to see this last fight. Those late game fights, you know, and they're just drafting a ton of AoE CC. So if Sentinels miss positions, if you don't react appropriately, if you don't flash those CCs, you're just dead. It's just gonna get layered up. In game 1, it was Wukong ult, Ornn ult, Nami ult. Game 2, it's the Skarner ult, it's the Seraphine ult, it's the Ash Arrow, it's the Seraphine root. They're drafting tons of AoE CC, so Sentinels have got to react appropriately, and they haven't. Darkwings, both games, I mean, it's definitely not just on him, but both games, you got to 6 items on super powerful late game carries, and you died without flashing a CC. Yeah. And that's just facts. So gotta step it up here if they want to have a chance.
Talking about AoE CC, Furia are still doubling down on that with the Nico as their first lock-in. Their red side again, so this is 3 games in a row, but now they get first pick. And Nico kind of fits that bill too. It's something that can either find that initial engage or follow up. And if you find multiple ways to CC these AoE, you know, engages.
Really first picking Sejuani with Trundle up.
We are first picking Sejuani. We'll see if Tatu wants to play the Trundle. Man. Oh, what about this though? Yone! We were talking about Darkwings' champ pool and really highlighting the fact that it's all focused on the control mages. We don't see a lot of the melee champions. Now blind picking a melee champion, technically flexible, I suppose. Like you could move this around, but typically, like Impact's
not playing Yone.
You don't think he is? He most fearless player in LCS. You don't think he's capable?
I don't feel like either of these guys are Yone guys, which is very surprising. I mean, maybe they've been grinding on it. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's hasn't been played at all by Darkwings. I'm curious all time how much he's actually played it, so I'm gonna check. I just feel like Trundle is such a comically obvious answer that gives them a big advantage in the jungle. Tatu has been doing a really good job already, and I think blinding the Yone is quite risky. But instead, they're going to go for Kaisa and Nico. So Trundle is now bannable, obviously. You could ban him in the second phase, which would help some protection bans here. You're also going to be able to potentially throw some protection bans for the Yone. And so it's double melee solo laners plus Sejuani. So they're basically saying we're playing topside. Gwen has been getting banned out in the second phase quite often. So that is, you know, something that's going on. Let's see, Yone, he's got 3 games all time in his career on Yone. He's 1-2. So,
I mean,
yeah,
Darkwings has the wide champion pool. That was one of the biggest things about him as a tier 2 mid laner coming in. That was
none
unique.
of them are this style. Right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's control mages that he primarily plays.
I mean, look through. There's to find the first actual like melee, you know, aggressive champion. You have to go down to a Kali that he has.
Silas, I guess, if you want to consider
I feel
that.
like Silas is kind of different to me than Yone. To me is more in like the Akali bucket, the really kind of like hyper aggressive stuff. You can make the argument for Silas, but even if you want to make the Silas argument that that's the same style of champion that is, you know.
He's got like 10 champions at least.
That's his 12th most played or whatever, right? Like he just doesn't play those champs. All his most played are control mages.
So it's surprising, but in a way, a little exciting because it is Darkwings' first time traveling for an international tournament. I know it's America's Cup leading into first stand. There's, you know, what's on the line here is a lot of pressure, of course, because you want to beat CBLOL, but also you want to earn your region the ability for extra practice time ahead of MSI or during MSI with the boot camps that will be earned by the winner of America's Cup. So I think it's kind of cool in a way that Darkwings is willing to pull out such a deep champion in his pool. In Game 3, it's not like he's pressured to do this right now. This is clearly something that he's opting into.
Yeah, no, they are absolutely opting into it. There's tons of control mages still up and available, but I do think it is scary when there's a lot of pressure on the line here, and you're not playing a champ that you're very comfortable on, right? Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, maybe he has a totally different perspective, and he's like, I play this all the time in solo queue. I'm completely comfortable. But I don't think he has been executing at a level that is, you know, high enough in the team fights when you think about these late game team fights. And those aren't champions he's played a bajillion times in Pro. And so I am worried going into a situation where it's do or die. It's a reverse sweep or go to the lower bracket here. And you're doing it on a champion that you have, you know, a lot less games on. That being said, Sejuani, obviously really strong pairing here with the double melee solo laners. They grab the rel, so it could be like an MF or something over the top if you want.
Yeah.
This
is a big like dive comp that I'm seeing so far. Like now they have the big high impact ultimates that can do damage, and it's Twisted Fate as the answer for the Yone.
Yeah, so TF is going to bring some much needed point and click CC against a couple of these champs. It's also going to allow you to play to the side lanes. So they're seeing, all right, Sentinels are drafting this sort of top side. They want to play towards side lanes. They want to be able to look towards split push and creating advantages there. Well, now Mbessa has some backup, right? Now Mbessa has the backup of the TF. And TF is also one of these champs where very auto attack focused. You're going to be just harassing down this Yone. Every time the Yone is looking to go solo and bound, you're just going to be trying to throw in the yellow card, stun him up, push it back, and we'll see how it's going to work out here. But I will say you are vulnerable to all-ins for sure on the TF, and Xayah is just kind of about avoiding the dive on the other side.
Yeah,
basically we have 2 dive comps.
Yeah, both sides can just isolate one person and send everything onto it, whether it's public execution plus the Kaisa, or whether it's like the Fate Sealed plus the Sejuani. Like you have all these chain CCs and
plus
damage
the
you can do.
Storm plus
everything.
This is one of those games where when they both play hard engage, that I just feel like whoever gets ahead, it's a giga stomp.
Yeah, it can snowball very fast, which I would say the games have been pretty close throughout the early and middle game. It's just like these late game team fight setups that Sentinels are botching the execution on. And that was not the expectation I had coming into this. If you had said that same thing was happening but reversed the nameplates, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what we've seen from FURIA, or at least from RED, and what kind of I expect from CBLOL teams is they can compete mechanically, they can compete in lane, but then in the late game there will be that one mistake. But no, it's Sentinels that are making that one mistake.
Yep.
And in this type of comp, that one mistake can just mean that the game's over.
It absolutely can. If you get behind, these comps don't really play in other directions, right? You kind of just go in, you full send everything, and kind of smash your head against each other. So
this is like that meme I sent you of how bald men settle their disputes we have to headbutt.
Yeah, exactly.
These are two bald men comps. That's what this is right now.
A couple of bald
Coining
dudes
the terms.
lining up on other sides of the stage.
We claim them.
They're gonna charge straight in.
We got two. What's the name of that dinosaur with the big cranium? It's got a fun name. I don't remember. Craniosaurus. I'm just gonna call it that. Two Craniosauruses smacking heads.
That's a lame name.
You think that's I think that's kind of cool. No.
It's no T-Rex.
Shellhead.
Or Velociraptor.
Velociraptor is an S+ tier.
Velociraptor goes hard.
Yeah, and also T-Rex. I think it doesn't sound as cool as Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's even cooler.
Yeah, but he's got a cool nickname because he's a cool guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rex, if you're really casual with him.
Yeah. You gotta that's more of like a first name basis kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. That's if he's invited you over for lunch or for mom's dinner.
But never call him Big T. He doesn't like that.
Dark Wings. He walks very far forward to get a ward on the Raptors, and will have to flash immediately. Gold card used. He does survive. Zale hates it here. Dark Wings hates the late state.
Like, I mean, well, I guess he can, but
I don't think he's going to. That's really tough.
That is horrible. The Brazilian teams have done this actually quite a bit. A lot of level 1 cheese where I know the perspective of many pros is that level 1 cheese is gone. Like, you can't do it. You risk too much. But if you make a really fast play like that, they just 3-man walk through mid, and Tatu steals us away.
Yeah,
and
we
now
actually have an invade. He's
Hambach
level 2.
has to leave his jungle.
Hambach is probably going to have to flash here, too. I mean, Tatu's just chasing him all the way out. He will save the summoner spell and go towards the top camps, but that is flash out of mid lane. That is Tatu taking away the Raptors. Hambach's wrapping around.
He can't do anything.
He has smite. I think he's just going to try and smite it away from Tatu.
But if you get spotted, you're just going to die, and you have no vision. He
has no ward. He's going to have to just walk into it. He has Hui coming up from behind, so we got the double riders.
Okay, he's going to get it.
Metal Horse plus the big pig. And there we go.
Okay.
Hambach will smite the objective. That's actually pretty big, because that would have been disastrous if he did not get Hui roaming up there.
Thank Hui. Honor.
Honor right now, yeah.
Because that is pretty cooked when that happens to your mid laner, and then your jungler is blasted level 1 as well. But we're up 28 gold in top lane, so we're fine.
Impact's like everyone having fun down there?
Yeah.
I'm winning the trades on Gigo.
Yeah, but no, actually, back to the earlier point, I really like that the Brazilian teams have been mixing in these level 1 cheeses.
Yeah.
They're showcasing that, hey, you're not going to always be able to punish it. We saw that like with Blanc roam down to bot. We've seen a couple of these plays through mid. If you just do an insta drive-by and they're disrespecting, I mean, Dark Wings is super far up, and he misses the cannon too. And I think he missed that range. Or maybe the gold is just not popping up.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
I think it's settings. I think the settings, just the gold wasn't popping up, because definitely looked like he got those second minions for sure, but it didn't pop up the gold over's head.
Yeah, either way, he's getting heavily chunked out. This is a wave advantage currently for Toots. And Dark Wings has not been able to get that back off yet. And yeah, the early invades are super creative, and it shows that they're doing their homework. Like FURIA have been watching, okay, what is the mid lane plan? It's very common for the mid laner to walk up and just drop that ward there to try and spot where the jungler is.
Great timing.
Yeah, they didn't get punished at all in the bottom side. They're able to get back down there. IU's also up in CS right now as Hambach on the top. Scuttle will smite it and get away.
Yep, so he has smite. Tatu had no smite, so Hambach has recovered really, really well. He's actually even ahead in the pacing right now. And credit to Dark Wings, he lost, what, 2/3 of his health at level 1, and is basically just down the 6 CS, so not the end of the world here. Of course, not the start he wanted, but Tatu on the re-invade there for the Raptors is going to be pretty nice.
Perfect timing. Yeah, that was on spawn. He walks up, drops the ward, preps the Q, gets the Darkened Blade as they spawn in. So Tatu is ready for it. And now Hambach's on the top half of the map here, looking potentially at Gigo. Impact's trying to get this wave in. Gigo gets a good trade back as Hambach is waiting in the wings. Even if they get this wave in, it's tough. Yeah.
You know, he knows he's not spotted yet, but this is a risky dive.
This is very risky.
He has
Flash
a biscuit
is available. Too. Yeah, Gigo should be just fine. Flashes away, and Sentinels will still continue to commit for it. They get the Sejuani stun. First blood to Impact, traded on Hambach.
Yeah, that's super worth actually, because you crash the wave, you get first blood, you get a plate. If Impact can kill this full wave, so that is really beneficial. Honestly, a pretty spooky dive. I don't think Gigo used his biscuit.
Oh, yeah.
Unless another biscuit just popped in, but I'm actually kind of curious about that. I don't know if it would have made the difference, but that came down to the final auto or two. Sometimes biscuit makes a difference. Even if you die, if it makes the difference between getting first blood or not, first blood is actually a lot of gold now.
It is a lot,
so,
yeah. 417 in favor of Impact.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty big deal. And Gigo was getting kind of smacked in the 1v1 prior to that. So that is the bigger issue, is that not only did he die and his opponent gets the kill, but he's already down CS, and then the wave is pushing away from you when it gets crashed in your tower like that. So nice job by Hambach and Impact. Whether or not the Biscuit would have saved him, didn't look like he used it. So
well, now Impact has the Haunting guys on the back here. They'd both gone for early backs and then TP to lane. Impact will now make it back in, and the wave's pushing into him. So it's a really good position for Impact. Got the gold lead, got the item lead, and also wave's going to be in a comfortable spot. Yep,
because Aatrox is up here now, so will be spotted when he goes into the river. So we're going to see this one more time. I guess we can't really see if he popped. I mean, he has a potion running. I don't know if he popped the biscuit or not. Not really going to be able to see unless we can see the inventory, to be honest.
He might have gotten the other biscuit afterwards.
Yeah, it might have been a second biscuit. I'm not actually sure. We can check that in the replay client. So Tatu did end up coming up. Impact takes a fair bit of damage there, but Hambach is behind him, and Impact is 6. So there is a potential to try to look for this. We'll see if they want to go.
The back is still channeling, and now it is canceled. The needlework from Impact to slow down Gigo. He's trying to jump away. Flash forward from Impact. No, he's just dashing instead. Still has the summoner spell, and the last tick of the ult will not go through.
Yeah.
Gigo backing off.
Yeah, Impact missed too many of the needlework hits there. I think he only hit 1 out of the 3 shots. And they wanted to try to force that. They did have level 6, and I think they win that 2v2, but Gigo has the cover of Tatu there. If Tatu had finished his recall, maybe he could get some sort of a chase down kill, but either way, Impact doing really well on that top side for now. The gold has evened out quite a bit, though. Was 400 in his favor until that was pushed in. Mid lane, slightly in the favor of Toots, and bot lane, kind of as you expect, in the favor of Furia. They do have the Nico into the Rel. You should just be winning these 2v2s early on.
Yeah.
And that is going to be looking pretty good for them.
I got to say, though, Sentinels, that was a moment where they could have gone for a play topside. They found an avenue, but we also saw Toots leave the lane. TF can always just ult to wherever that side lane play is happening, so we need to keep that in mind as Sentinels look for side lane plays going forward. Meanwhile, Tatu starts up the dragon. It is spotted on vision. Sentinels know that this is happening. Hambach will use the smite early here on the red buff, and who he's walking forward. Hambach over the wall, has the ultimate available, throws out the glacial prison. The dragon is secured, but Dark Wings donated a kill there. And Sentinels pick up 1.
Yep, going to be able to get that kill. They'll grab the scuttle as well. So not bad, but good smite here from Tatu. And it feels like he's winning out on the smites every single time, pretty much, throughout this series. He's been doing a really good job at securing these objectives, as it was a bit of a flip, but Tatu gets it, and that would have been really rough for Furia if that did end up going their way too.
But I gotta say, just such credit to Hambach for coming back from the early Raptors. He calls up who he calls himself up. Either way, Hambach's able to at least get the red buff and get back into the game. He had a slight lead before. Now he loses the dragon, but he got level 6 first and is able to set the team up for some kills. Gold donate onto Dark Wings now, who's also had a great early game here, coming back from that early flash blown.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the early flash blown really sucked, but TF coming.
Destiny used, gold card landed, and it sets up the public execution to knock him back down. Toots with a kill credit.
So he used the Hallow Mist after he got out of the stun. Did he not have it there? Because if he uses the Hallow Mist prior, either it just came up after he got gold carded, or he was trolling. Because I really want to see that again. Because if you Hallow Mist that, then you can't have the public execution. So I assume that Fury only went for it because they have the timing on that.
Darkwing sees Tatu in the grub pit. Tatu will smite 1 away. That's 2 credit to Furia, as who he has roamed up with the flash Q, and Tatu is out of there. Darkwings with another kill.
Yeah, and Tatu just flashed into the wall there too, and wasted his ult. So that is a bit tough. I don't even know where he was trying to flash. I think he was maybe trying to do a tricky play where he flashes down in the red pit and they think he flashed up or something.
Yeah.
But he kind of just flashed into the wall. That looked completely wasted. So that is good for Sentinels. They do get 2 of those grubs, but you don't want to let this Yone get too accelerated. That can be problematic for them for sure, because they're not that tanky.
Tuts and Jojo are walking up here. They got Tatu back on the red buff, so Hambach will he look for the smite steal. It is Tatu securing the objective. Hambach pretty low as he will walk away.
Yep, so Tuts does come and they get that red buff, but at the very least, Darkwings was pushing in mid. Gonna go PD rush, which is pretty atypical, so is gonna go for the Phantom Dancer here straight up. Definitely gonna have very high damage, and Jojo coming out. Extra little minion there. Some bonus gold there for Mr. Impact to farm up. What's that minion doing?
Count the minions. I mean, Impact's not even in lane, so does JoJo stay for the long con? No, he backed off. Okay.
Yeah, so Impact's still up 200 gold. He is up a good amount of farm, so that is nice for him. But of course, Gigo in a better spot than he was earlier, so we're going to see this again. Yeah, so this is, I mean, surely he had the hell of this. I just feel like there's got to be no way, but he pops it, it's the split second he's out of that, so that's why I was kind of confused about.
Try and dodge the gold card. That would have been a higher impact use of the ability.
I mean, if he had it, right? I have to assume that he didn't have it. I just can't believe that you wouldn't be able to react to that. Because even if he's on top of your head and he gets the gold card down, the public execution can't hum, so then nothing happens, right? Yeah. Which is one of the reasons that Gwen is really annoying. Champions like Gwen and sometimes Jax and stuff as well are really annoying for TF because it's very difficult to actually get in and get the gold card down, so they can kind of absorb that pretty well. And then on the other side, obviously Zai has Cleanse as well as the Featherstorm to be able to avoid that, so they have some pretty good tools to actually dodge out on the gold cards, which makes Toots' job harder, but getting that kill first time he goes up is going to feel really nice.
Yeah, because that was the first time that we have seen the TF ultimate used, and we had highlighted the fact that that could come up in these side lane plays. Darkwings is able to get a wave shoved in for that, but he's still a slight lead for himself. Tuts did get a kill for that. Is Huhi now in the river, caught out by JoJo and Tatu. Pop Blossom committed. His public execution will land on the Darkwings. Tries to ult back to safety. Gold card will land, and he's dead before any backup can arrive. Double kill over to Tatu. Furia find 2.
Yeah, Huhi dying is like more okay. I mean, he spent his flash earlier to get the kill on a Tatu, but after Huhi dies there, Darkwings need to be leaving a lot faster, right? You know that they are around.
I mean, I guess you have a flash and ult, so you think you can get out, and the public execution from Fog of War is tough to dodge, but still, that's not what you want.
Nope, it is not.
Impact doesn't even get anything down to the top lane for that here. Gigo just roams right back up. Needlework used. Impact's pushing Gigo off for now, but he even takes a turret shot, so it's not even like the health bar trade works.
No, it's not even a good trade, and now he's getting ulted on.
Again, rinse and repeat, and yet again, the Hollow Mist not available, so Tuts, gold card plus Gigo, and another identical play. Impact falls again.
Just such an overchase from Impact. What are you even using Needlework for? You're not even getting anything. You're just chasing him down the lane there without a care in the world for where TF is. And he's now behind. He's now down 500, 600 gold when you had this early gank, this dive that put you in such a good spot, and you have all the tools to be able to tank these ganks. But they are failing to do so, and now they're down 2K. I mean, Darkwings was gifted a couple kills in these fights. He throws that away, loses his flash ulti. Impact is gifted a kill by Hombach. He loses his life twice now to these TF ults. So now you're down 2K, and now you're looking like you're in a horrible spot here.
And you had highlighted going into the game with both of these compositions, it can snowball very quickly because the engage options on both sides. Gigo 2-1 and 2 now on the M-Pesa. If he's able to land public execution on anybody, as we saw mid lane on Darkwings, like he's gonna have the damage here to kill it with that Eclipse finishes. Another 1v1 top side Impact. Snip Snip not gonna land that time. Gigo gets back to safety, but the moment that these engages, the team fights start coming through. If you have that gold lead, if you're the team that's ahead, you're just going to be favored in those moments.
Yeah, you really are. And we'll see. I mean, definitely going to be a tough spot, but Sentinels not out of it by any means just yet. I mean, there's a lot of CC on both sides as they are hunting for Impact, but he should just be able to
he's got the
back off.
Skip and slash to just jump over the wall if he needs to, and doesn't need to. Now IU jumping in on top of Rahel. Featherstorm used. Blade Caller being held for right now. Maybe it was used on the wave earlier. Flash from IU to dodge it, and it's a 1-for-1 kill. Both AD carries trying to outperform each other, and they just trade them.
Yep, Rahel used his Blade Caller on the wave when he was trying to clear that out, and then he gets tagged by the Void Seeker, so IU takes that fight. And it is a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, so both summoners used by IU, so maybe slightly in the favor of Rahel. But Impact here has Hombach around, and I mean, Gigo just has so much mobility, and Impact isn't really winning out on these trades. So now they're going to try to push in and see if they can set up a dive.
No public execution, and we have the needlework. So Hombach over the wall. They try and do it before the wave even gets there.
Not even close.
But Gigo gets out. He's just fine.
Yep, and that is tough. Now Tatu, we're going to see if he can find a counterplay on somewhere else, but Tut's moving up here. Won't be able to stop the recalls. not a big cost to that play, but still not able to really get anything from it. I mean, Hambach nailed the ulti over the wall, but they weren't really in a position to immediately damage him, and Best W just absorbs so much damage. It is insane. So if you don't kill this champion in CC, it is tough.
Ooh, Impact goes into the Hall of Mist, and the sun still lands. He's got a TP coming in from Darkwings to keep him safe. And that means Yone is now on the top side, so they stopped the dive, but now they have nobody to catch his bottom wave. Hambach is there. Maybe he will look for it.
Yeah, Hambach can go down to where it's there. Impact can TP in, so they're going to try to go for a wraparound, but he's spotted.
Gigo has a public execution this time around. He'll just immediately back off, and Hambach sees that, yep, there is a control ward, in fact, here. He'll clear that out, but Gigo is in no danger. Although, as I say that, Hambach... Okay, he got the Heartsteel stack. First Heartsteel stack.
We're on the board.
Yeah.
So that's a heavily won play for Sentinels.
Hey, as a Heartsteel enthusiast myself...
Of +1 Heartsteel.
The dopamine you get from the bonk.
Yep.
It's not quite as much damage as the olden days, but still feels good.
It does feel nice.
I do miss old Heartsteel, though, as a Pantheon support player. Man, when it did like 500 damage.
It was super OP.
That was crazy. All right, Rahel catching the mid wave. The Herald is up, and Sentinels are trying to get this Scuttle Crab for it. Tatu, he has some backup, but he's not going to go all the way forward as Gigo and Impact find themselves in a 1v1 yet again. Public execution will land. The needlework used by Impact. Gigo trying to sidestep it. That one will land. Impact with a snip, trying to find the last tick of damage. Flashes, and now running away as Gigo flashes forward. The Mbessa cooldowns. The Mbessa dashes. The Mbessa 1v1s. Gigo finds the kill.
I mean, you just don't win that. I didn't even really understand why he was chasing, so I was kind of wondering if he was seeing something that I wasn't seeing or if I was missing something. It never looked at any point that he was winning that 1v1 to me. And he's just chasing in like he's going to win. I mean, Gigo still had like 500 health left at the end. It wasn't even close.
And now the Herald is secured by Hambach, so Furia were grouping up for a potential contest. They don't actually go for it, even though Gigo did find that solo kill on the bot side. So I guess it's something for Sentinels, but yeah, that's so much for Gigo. He gets the kill, he gets the turret.
I mean, the game should be over at this point. It is, you know, closing in on a 4K lead. It's a 2K individual lead for Impact after he was put in such a good spot. I think he has played a really bad game from that early advantage, and Gigo is smacking him around now. Able to team up with Toots a couple times, take him down.
Yep.
And then Impact he fully opted into that, right? Like, that was not as though Impact got stuck in this spot and had to take this fight. He's chasing him. He's chasing him down the river that whole way. And I feel like you were never even close to winning the fight. So I don't get it, but Impact is down again. And now, yeah, as I said, about a 4K lead. And Furia looking really, really strong. We'll see if Sentinels can find some sort of a really good team fight. Yeah,
now's when we have to start giving the gig a cope here, because we talked about how snowbally these comps can get, but hey, if you find a pick, if you find somebody out of position, still engage tools for Sentinels, so theoretically it's possible. Darkwings is getting this top turret. Nice influx of gold for the mid laner here as Sentinels are trying to hold the mid lane. Glacial Prison goes out, and Killer Instinct will dodge it, and Tuz has to flash from the Yone ult, so that's a couple of plays there for Sentinels. They're finding some stuff.
Yep, going to be able to get a cleanse, a flash, a Killer Instinct. That is something for them, but of course mid lane tower going to go down, and already lost that bot lane turret, so over 4,000 gold now. So yeah, you got a summoner here too.
A flank. He's got Huhi behind him as well, but there's Guigo. There's Tatu. The engage from Huhi will land, but the pop lost some re-engage, means no follow-up from Sentinels. And Furia, they got the trigger pull as well. We highlighted it before. The engage is real. Impact doing some damage. He will trade one back as 3 fall. Furia still winning the fight. Rahel trying to get some damage onto Tuts, but Impact will still die. 4 for 2 in favor of Furia.
Yeah, 4 for 2. Huhi goes for the engage, but as you said, Pop Blossom is there, and there's not really anyone in position to follow up anyway, to be honest. So, you know, that was rough. And then I didn't see who actually hit that blast cone, but then Darkwings gets knocked back into the middle of the team. I don't know if that was Furia hitting it and knocking him in, or if that was a mistake from Sentinels again. But now 5.5K gold lead. And it is getting rough. The early rapid fire here. Normally TFs will go Lich Bane second, then rapid fire, but I actually really like early rapid fire in a game like this because it's just going to be all about the CC, all about the pick. So Huhi goes, but no one can even hit during it, right? Like, no one's even in position to hit, and the TF ult is instantly there to reinforce. Impact was not in position to really join the fight.
It was Gigo who public executioned and then hits the blast cone as we're back to live. And nobody goes down. It looks like we were just scrapping in the top side right there. But yeah, even during the replay, like Darkwings doesn't have Fate sealed. Like they don't have the tools
and Impact's
ready.
not even there.
Yeah, so it's like that's just a really ambitious engage.
I mean, it's just desperation, right? And they clearly think that the game is snowballing out of control. It's kind of similar to what they did last game when they started losing, right? Where they're just going to start sending it on every fight and they're going to hope it works out. Last game, it started to work out and they kind of started to get back into it. But this game, 6K down at 20 minutes and you're just all melee champs.
Public execution dodged by the mist as Gigo had Tatu behind him, but Impact's able to absorb it and no play for Furia.
Yep, no play for them, so they are able to absorb that engage. And you're kind of hoping maybe, you just get that miracle rel engage into the follow-up from Darkwings. He has his IE done now, so his damage is going to be very, very high.
Yep.
You are going to be having the opportunity to burst some people down, but it is going to be tough. And Huhi is playing Mikhails, which I think makes sense, given the rapid fire rush from the TF, right? Gold card is going to be so powerful in a game like this, but it does mean that he is going to get one shot every time he goes in.
Yeah,
so
he's not a tanky rel.
No, you are one set of spells, a Mikhails, and then you die. And that's basically what it is, right? So that's a pretty big trade-off.
Yeah, that's not a great place to be as Sentinels will throw the Herald in, teleport in. Got to be careful as their junglers engaged on. Hambach takes a huge chunk of damage. Gigo completes the teleport. And now Sentinels in full retreat. Tatu pops World Ender, lands the Nagab onto Rahel, and a Glacial Prison onto Jojo. They got the Nico. Sentinels with a clutch find in the fight. Can now turn it back around on the Gigo, who's jumping in. Low health bars on the jungler for Sentinels, but it doesn't matter. It's Darkwings going in. Tuts now finally joining up with the play. Gold card land, who he's down, but it is traded for the top laner. 2 for 1 so far. Killer Instinct from Ayu. The Kaisa flies over everybody and is shredding through Sentinels. Double kill to Tuts. Rahel will trade back on the Gigo, but he's stunned up. A quadra kill to Tuts. And Furia smashed the fight.
Yep, and that is a big fight indeed for Furia. Sentinels found a pretty good angle to start the fight. They got a kill or two, but Tuts arrives, gets a quadra as they go in, and it just didn't feel like they had the tools to lock him down. When Ayu goes forward, when Tuts goes forward, they realize so many of the tools have already been spent from Sentinels, so they just play it so aggressively, and they're able to find a lot of those kills. That is a suspicious ward.
I like how he was using the sweeper, though, so it still seemed like a control word. You never know.
There you go.
When's the last time we saw a quadra kill on a Twisted Fate in this type of team composition? Let's get another look at that, though.
Yeah, it's been a while for sure. Hambach, this was a really nice turn from him, the Glacial Prison. He finds it onto Jojo, and they're able to burst him down before the pop blossom comes through, and then Tuts is like, wait, I can't flank? And then you're thinking, hey, it's a 5v3 right now. This could actually be looking pretty good, but Gigo is so fed, flashes out from the Fate sealed. They re-engage in on a Tatu, but I think Huhi maybe went a bit too early. Still, though, you have the numbers in this case, but then here it comes, the ult in from Ayu, creates a lot of space. Gigo goes aggressive on the other side. Rahel does take him down, but they just knew there just wasn't enough tools to deal with all of them. So Ayu full sends it, creates space for the rest of the team. Really well played there from Furia.
He's like, what? We did that? That's awesome. Oh, beautiful moment for Furia. And I gotta say, tough series for LCS fans watching here. Tough for us as well.
Couple of tough days.
I mean, Furia, if they just play the rest of this game cleanly, they're going to go undefeated into the finals against both of the LCS representatives.
Yep. Yeah, didn't drop a game against either LCS team, so not what you want to see for sure. I mean, Sentinels, this one seems the most over. Last game, I didn't like their draft, but gold-wise, they were still in it. Game 1, I thought they were in actually a winning position for a lot of it personally. I'm sure other people will have other takes, but I thought they had a really good shot. But this one, they are kind of just getting blown out of the water.
So I'm gonna need everybody at home then. All the LCS fans, raise your hands. We gotta spirit bomb this. We gotta charge up Sentinels right now. Give them all your energy, because they're gonna need it, man. It's a 7K gold deficit. Dragon Soul in 4 minutes, but Baron's already on the table. Furia can look at it right now.
Yep, and they are gonna start to pressure this. And it is going to be really, really difficult to deal with. Rahel is quite strong. I mean, he has his big 3 items, but on the other side, you know, you're looking across, and every carry is, you know, 1.5 to 2K ahead. Yeah. So that is really, really tough.
That's hey, you know, Tatu's only 967 ahead.
There you go. But I'm not counting him as a carry because he's jungler, but he's still a carry.
Well, fair enough.
Yep.
Even if it's a carry champion. I say Aatrox is carry champion, in a way, as who he actually goes for the engage here onto Tuts. Glacial Prison, a pick for Sentinels, but the Pop Blossom response. Rahel throws out the ult for the wrong way. He goes down. Trade of supports as IU still getting some damage in. Impact is in the mist, alone with Tatu. Furia spreading around. Giga goes on to Impact on the flank here as Darkwing's trying to get onto IU. It's only supports falling on both sides as Sentinels find their pick, but do not get much more.
Someone needed to hit that tower. That tower was doing so much for Furia, and it's legit like one auto, but I guess they were worried about if you go forward, you get CC'd under it.
Rahel needed to Feather Storm the correct direction as well, because that Blade Caller could have been huge and just controlling the space.
Going Baron. They're just going to TP even on it, so now Sentinel's going to have to try to get in there. They're aware of it, but going to be tough.
All right, Hambach walking forward, Baron rather down to under 10K. It's about the Rahel show. They got to buy space for the Xayah, but Hambach's already giga chunked out. Darkwing's going forward. Baron's still focused up. Smite it down as Furia pick up the objective. Sentinels can't even get into the river to contest.
Yep, not going to be able to do anything.
Forward. Instant cleanse from Darkwings. He's able to get out of there. Actually, it was the Mikhails from Huhi, so good from him to keep his 80 carry safe. But yeah, Baron's enough for Furia here, plus the gold lead. They can either try and close the game, or they can just use this Baron to get the Dragon Soul. Yep,
they'll probably just play for Soul. With these kind of compositions, it is a little bit harder siege, right?
True. And it's also 26 minutes.
Exactly. It's still pretty early. So if you group up and you all get AoE'd, that's kind of the only way Sentinels would have a chance. But they are closing in on a 7,000 gold lead. They have Soul here in a minute and a half, and they have the Baron to continue pushing this advantage. So they are looking really, really good. Toots almost has his death cap even, so that is big. IU has the Seekers now, so it gets even harder now to find a potential one-shot or find a potential pick here for Sentinels.
Yeah.
And so they are in tough. As Furia have just been better. Furia have just executed in the big moments. They've looked more coordinated in the team fights, and even the individual play. I feel like the Soul lanes have really been outclassed today for Sentinels. Impact and Darkwings, I think, have been super outclassed by their counterparts.
I mean, Furia are playing clean. They're playing clinical. Sentinels, they're playing like they just got off Willie Nelson's tour bus, dude. Like, we got to figure out what's going on with this vacation that LCS is on down in Brazil, because getting swept back-to-back by Furia is pretty tough.
It's a tough look for sure.
Pretty tough look, as that's about what is about to happen here. Furia, 45 seconds till that Dragon Soul. Sentinels so far behind as Tatu gets some damage on Darkwings, but actually Darkwings trades a decent amount back. Now IU landing the W. Gigo under turret onto Rahel. That's already Feather Storm used, so no Xayah ultimate for the Dragon Soul contest, if Sentinels can even get out there.
Yep, that is public execution traded for it, but that is going to be a shorter cooldown, and Gigo just knowing his limits, putting that pressure on constantly here, as mid lane tier 2 will fall easily to the cannons. Gigo doesn't have to risk anything, and we'll see, can they even get out there? I feel like no. I think that the chances are low to even get over there. I mean, you probably can't win with Ocean Soul, but you're probably never going to be able to get the Ocean Soul, so
I kind of vision.
It's everything is covered. So I mean, it's either you give this and then you turtle up and hope you can get a random Elder, or you flip it and just send Hambach in by himself to go on a one-way mission.
I mean, Impact is just pushing in on the top wave. Toots actually gets behind Hambach, so IU flying over with the Killer Instinct, instant cleanse on the Glacial Prison. Hambach is hunted, Dragon Soul is claimed. Furia are running away with this game, as Hambach will just try and hit this wave. Impact is still pushing in the top side, but with Hambach falling, feels like this is the final game-winning push from Furia. They even still have the Baron. It just expired, but now they can defend against top push and regroup as a team.
Yep, nicely done. Furia gonna be able to claim this, you have to think. I mean, there's no reason for them to flip it. They just play it really well. They use both the TF and the Kai'Sa push in, and now they're gonna try to push in and potentially end the series right here.
They're grouping up as 5 on the bottom side, and that means that Sentinels have only one avenue they have to defend, as the mid lane is the next focus here. So if Sentinels can keep these inhibitor turrets up, they will have Hanbog respawning. They can go for another 5v5 fight, but the gold lead is just so big for Furia, plus the Dragon Soul keeping them all topped off and healthy in this fight. Engelbarb's not going to land as Tuts, the focus, lands a gold card. Stun on the impact, but no follow-up from the rest of the team. Tatu just keeps dashing back and forward over this little wall, keeping Sentinels on their toes. But without the Baron, it is hard for Furia to actually continue the siege in these lanes. So for now, they're going to back off.
Yep, can be a bit difficult, but still, all they need is really one opportunity. If Sentinel steps a bit too far forward, they are going to get picked, and then that is going to be the end of the series. Sentinel's going to keep fighting it out, of course. Going to try to look for any small window of opportunity that they could find. It is going to be so tough, though. I mean, maybe you one-shot the TF who has no Zonias. And
yeah, maybe. I mean, it's going to be Miracle Plays at this point. It could be Gigo. If he walks up and hits his wave, he's giving us an opportunity. But yeah, he doesn't have to. Wait for the rest of the team. You don't see anybody on Sentinels on the map. They just cleared out the bottom vision. And Sentinels haven't even taken this bot tier 3 turret. Like that is an outer turret in mid and bot lane.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty much on the back foot. You know, there was just too many mistakes in the early game. Impact was in a good spot, and Darkwings got into a good spot, but then they just didn't execute in the fights. Impact, you know, was using his miss really aggressively for just kind of these trading patterns a lot of the time, and then TF would find an angle to kill him off. Then he tried to take this 1v1 down bot side, get solo killed, and so that was, you know, really, really tough. And then it's just been Sentinels on the back foot the whole time, looking for an opportunity to find a fight. But we talked about it in draft, when you have these kind of compositions where it's just a whole bunch of melee champs all running at each other, one team gets ahead. Yeah, that's generally the team that does come out on top. And
it feels like, again, I don't want to have hope, but it still feels like there's a couple of avenues that Sentinels can't play because you highlight there is no Zonias on Tuts. We can try and get onto IU. He has the Zonias available, but like it is a squishy target. Even the Nico, relatively squishy with only some armor and a little bit of health. So it's not like it's impossible. I want to believe. It's just so hard to right now. Furia have played this so well.
I mean, the gold lead, though, is so massive. So, yes, there is a world in which you one-shot the TF or whatever, but
what happens after?
Exactly. Also, you have to spend so many tools to do that, and everyone on their team is super fed, right? From talking to Freak, Dragon Souls are worth around 6K of stats, and then they're over 8,000 gold ahead. So you have to be thinking about it as a 14,000 gold lead at 30 minutes. Right? And when you think about it like that, it's very,
I don't
very
like
tough.
it. No, I'm not. I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to choose to ignore the dragons and the numbers and the items.
Flip it. Let's go,
and
baby.
the stats. I'm going to focus on Sentinels.
I believe in the magic.
Looking at the big purple worm, baby. Gigo has the teleport. He's going to go for the flank right now. Could come down to a smite fight. Tatu gets in the pit, but does not get it. Now he's all alone for a few seconds. Sentinels, they get the GA. They get the Baron. And now they got to fight their way out of here. Flash over the wall from Tatu. Now goes back over. IU can't get the damage out. Sentinels, they find their kill. But in goes Gigo. In goes Tut. The Blade Caller does not get the kill. Sentinels fought for it. They almost found a play. The Baron is not enough. You gotta win the fight afterwards. Furia hold the line, and they get the ace. They'll get the game. Azael, we just got swept by CBLOL.
Twice by the same team, man. Furia, too good, too strong. Good try at the end there by Sentinels. They got the Baron. They got a couple kills. Honestly, not bad, but Furia gonna take that Baron for Nexus trade every time.
Well played to Furia, undefeated against back-to-back LCS opponents in the America's Cup. They will 3-0 Sentinels and continue to finals.
Well played. They're just better. I mean, you know, we can make excuses that whatever we want. Yeah, it is tough traveling down there. It is tough, you know, not having a lot of time in between the events, but at the end of the day, Furia are just outplaying across 2 series. This one was a lot closer. It felt like